feelings I never felt in my life. It's hard to explain what I'm going through is new. I'm good looking, clean up well, but without this fine young little lady, I'm still in hell. She's brown skinned, Eritrean. Love every second of the time that we spend. We're good friends, there's no need to pretend. The way she walks and moves her hips, those smooth curves, I just love to kiss. It's Sunday morning, make her breakfast in bed, bring her a latte and chill up in the spread, and manifest all the thoughts in my head. The comforter of my life. You know what? She may not know what I want her to be my wife. It was my finest wish to stay the night. She's doing fine on her own, about to buy a home. Me, I'm working out some shit, but I've grown. I'm working hard to keep things right. Focus on my music so we can have a life outside of the system and the bright lights. She feeds me juice and curry when I'm hungry. Caress me on my body, it feels lovely. A lot of pain that I took on in my life, I need you to make it right. Need you to make it right. The feelings I'm feeling, it's real in my life. I know you're something special, want you to be my wife. All I need to know is will you treat me right? I wanna make love tonight. The feelings I'm feeling, it's real in my life. I know you're something special, want you to be my wife. All I need to know is will you treat me right? I'm gonna make love tonight. Brown eyes, caramel skin, beautiful face, where do I begin? Your hips, they keep making me excited. Your breasts, just how I like it. If you're the key to my life, then will you be there for me? All I'm asking is will you trust in me? It's complicated, but I wanna do it right. If we keep true to the love, we can make life. Your destiny is to be with me. I'm waiting for you to be one with me. Your soulmate, I would do anything for you. Baby girl, it's you I adore. Word life, you are my life. I won't deal with nothing that's strife. We're gonna spend all our time together, me and you, girl, forever. The feelings I'm feeling, it's real in my life. I know you're something special, want you to be my wife. All I need to know is will you treat me right? I wanna make love tonight. The feelings I'm feeling, it's real in my life. I know you're something special, want you to be my wife. All I need to know is will you treat me right? I'm gonna make love tonight. Tonight. Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fast. Don't have to do work, we do right. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. Yes, it is 0839 Wednesday the 15th April, and that will make it 2 a.m. 39 Eastern Standard Time in the Americas. What's up to everybody? We back. Today, this episode is called JD Vance is far worse than Trump. He is Elon Musk and Peter Thiel's slave. They want to get rid of you. They want you gone, you know, and they want poor people gone. You need to understand that in America, according to the conspiracy theory, right? I mean, hey, some conspiracy theories are not fake, right? The ideas, you just listen to them. And also, from what I gather from what they say, I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe I'm wrong. Of course,
I'm human. I can always be wrong. I mean, your president, is he always right? I mean, is he right ever? So I could be wrong once or twice, and I'm still a million times better than Trump. But listen, the person you elected for fucking president, I'm saying? God damn. You know what I mean? But in any case, according to the conspiracy, you should be happy with conspiracy theories, because Trump ran on a conspiracy theory. His conspiracy theory led him to say he's going to release the Epstein files, and then he found out he was probably the main person in the fucking files, and he was like, nah, I don't release it. And then people leaked this shit anyway, and you find out people have gone to the FBI and said and accused Trump. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But in any case, here's another conspiracy theory. It's worse. It's an extension of the Epstein files, but far worse than what you might have expected. Yes, according to the theory, they want you dead. They want you dead. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, they want poor people in America, including the ones that look different from me. They want them dead also. You got to remember, black people are a minority in the U.S. You could kill us all and it's still not going to be enough. According to the rich people, they need way more poor people dead. Seriously, it's called cleaning up the trash. You think Nazis weren't trying to clean up all the trash? Or you think they just... But in any case, I'm laughing, but you should, if you live in the U.S., you should take it serious, actually, especially after what you've seen so far of this administration. Well, it looks like J.D. Vance is finally set. We've been waiting for a long time. But apparently, I have to say, I expected something else to happen somewhere, but apparently it's just not there. Look, the Republican Party is locked in step with Trump. They will not remove him through impeachment. Of course, no, apparently not. And they're leaving it up to the cabinet members to impeach Trump. And the thing is that they are all sycophant Trump people. It's like J.D. Vance got second in line. How you think J.D. Vance, how you think he just happened to become the vice president? Who you think picked him? You think he was picked because he's a strong leader and showed leadership qualities and shit? Or do you think they picked him because he was a sap? Who would do anything for an opportunity, especially for these people, just a follower to the greatest degree. You got to understand, Trump was born with a silver spoon. J.D. Vance wasn't. J.D. Vance is more like a wannabe pick-me. And Donald Trump is like, he was born into wealth and is like, fuck you, and doesn't care about the law. He's been breaking the law and getting away with it, allegedly, his entire life. He's had no need to think about you. I mean, just think how long it took them to even look into his tax records in New York. You got pulled when they don't look into it. You see what I mean? So it's not like that's some new shit. You see what I mean? But having said all that, J.D. Vance is the man now. He's not president. It doesn't look like Trump. It looks like Trump is going to leave the White House screaming, like, trying to grab onto the walls. His nails might be in the fucking walls when they try to drag him out of there, because apparently he just doesn't want to give it up to J.D. Vance. And, so I think there's a little rift there. The Republican Party doesn't want to remove Trump, but apparently they don't like J.D. Vance. Trump, he's sick he appears to be very, very sick and very, very old and very, in desperate need of medical attention, maybe in desperate need of a old folks home. Some, his kids maybe, I don't know if this legally, if they meet the requirement of elder abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going on with that, but he looks in horrible condition. He has marks on his body. I mean, don't get me wrong. People have marks, but I'm talking about the kind of marks that look like, you've been battered a little bit, or, your head, you fell down and hit your head, or, your bed rails keeping you in the bed. This is crazy, but like maybe he been, is made out of metal or something. I don't fucking know. But all those theories are up. People can pick them out. But it appears, that J.D. Vance is starting to, take the take the lead in the media, because he's making an ass of himself. And just like Trump, however, but I said it before, J.D. Vance is going to be worse. J.D. Vance is going to be worse. If he is elected president, he will do anything Elon Musk and Peter Thiel tell him to do, because he was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He doesn't really know what fuck you money is. You see what I mean? Because he's never tried it. You know what I'm saying? Trump has tried fuck you money because he was born with it. And he's always been, and he's still like fuck you. He has these guys on his nuts. He has Peter Thiel. Think about it. Elon Musk, they require Trump or they're finished. Peter Thiel, they require Trump or they are finished. Everyone in Trump's cabinet is picked that way. And they know that too. So they ain't going to do nothing to Trump. They're not going to do nothing to Trump. But that's not the same as J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance really is not wealthy. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have an old history in this at all. And they know who he is. They already got J.D. Vance by the balls. You see, he would have never even been picked if they didn't have him by the balls. If there's one person you could be pretty sure they got by the balls, is J.D. Vance. You see what I mean? And that's crazy because, you know, look at who else got. Donald Trump is, a lot of the wrong people have him by the balls, but it ain't nobody in the U.S. Not yet, apparently. It's probably Putin or goddamn Netanyahu, but apparently it's not someone in the U.S. because they could pull his card if they did, but apparently, you know, it's not working that way. But Trump is the president. They let his ass be president. The Supreme Court told everyone you cannot prosecute a sitting president. So it doesn't matter what they think of Trump right now. It doesn't matter what crimes they come up with. The man is in the clear. And for some goddamn reason, you know, the cabinet, they're scared to remove him. That tells me that the cabinet is not on the same side. They're all pick-me's, but they're not really on the same side. They're out for themselves. They were just invited to the club. They're weaklings invited to the club. And the most powerful people in the cabinet are the billionaires, period. Everybody else who's not a billionaire doesn't mean anything. And that's J.D. Vance. Marco Rubio means nothing. He's another pick-me by the billionaires. Like, this is really the billionaire class here, and they have the most to lose. You got to understand that. Why doesn't J.D. Vance have a lot to lose? Because he's not really a patriot. He's a sellout to the American people. Marco Rubio, why doesn't he have a lot to lose? Because he's not a patriot. He's a sellout. See, as a poor man, you could still be a patriot. You could still be proud of your country. That's not what these people are. So you can forget about the losing their country that bothers them, selling out their country. That shit doesn't bother them because they just don't have it as the people they are. But the billionaires don't give a fuck about the country either, but they have something else, money. And they don't want to lose that money. You see what I mean? That's the most important thing. They don't want to lose that money. So they're going to fight and they're going to control and they're going to use everything to make sure this thing goes the way they want it to go. And J.D. Vance is their guy. Either one, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, whichever one you want. It seems like it could be either one. J.D. Vance is playing the front. Maybe he feels a little desperate, so he's playing the front. Marco Rubio has been out there in the front while J.D. Vance was playing the back. Maybe now he's going to play the back. But the closer it gets, you know, I expect these two are going to split. They're probably already split, and they're going to be fighting each other. So we're going to see how it looks. But in any case, I think they're all fucked up, you know, but I think J.D. Vance out of all of them is 100% the worst and could have the potential of being far worse than Trump. And then you have to be scared about him coupled up to Peter Thiel when you listen to the concepts and the things they say in Elon Musk. I mean, they don't talk like they value everyday people. And they do talk, if you ask me, my opinion, they talk like they basically would like one day to just get rid of the poor people of the United States of America. I mean, regardless of your patriotism or regardless of your ancestry, you could have been the great grandson of General whoever and shit for the goddamn Dixie Army, and they wouldn't give a fuck about you any more than they would give a fuck about someone who was the great grandson of Lincoln. You know what I mean? They literally don't care. You're all a fucking pain and a waste of time, like an annoyance, because you're broke. you're poor and you keep demanding shit, and you keep quoting the Constitution. This is what annoys the billionaires. You keep going back to a piece of paper. They don't want that piece of paper. They're tired of that fucking piece of paper. They don't want rules. They want to own the place. And you annoy them. You are a fucking annoyance. So be afraid. And please, anybody else around the world, if you have the same suspicion, please help us. Because we're in trouble in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? We're in fucking trouble. You know what I'm saying? Just like Trump asked for help, Putin's help to get Hillary Clinton's emails. Oh, well, that's okay. That is apparently legal. So I vote Canada. Help us, please. You're our neighbor. Mexico, help us. You're our neighbor. You make the decisions and filter everybody else and do the organizing, because shit is going wrong. And if it goes wrong for us, they're going to use these weapons in this military to come after you. You know you're a danger. They're going to spread this thing. They're going to spread this bad boy. So just remember that. If this thing is not put in check, it has the potential to harm many people. And it had already showed you it has, what it thinks of Greenland. It already showed you what it thinks of Canada. You see what I mean? It already showed you what it thinks of its neighbors. You see what I'm saying? Christian or not. And speaking of that, let's start right there with punk ass JD Vance. Do me a favor. Before we get started, click the like button for me. Click the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. Take a second to do that now. But I want to say one thing. Please, to my mods, I got a couple of complaints from people yesterday, just everyday, the regular users, people that are been following the channel and stuff like that. Let's try to take it easy on the users. Even if some of them disagree, that doesn't bother me. I don't care if someone has a different opinion. All I want to control is their mouth, how they say it, how they say their opinion. So if you're using insulting words and things like this, sorry, you got to go. If you don't know how to say your opinion in a way that is basically respectful of other people, because you have to live in a world where other people have opinions. And also, if don't say anything that will cause someone to punch you in the motherfucking face in real life. Like, don't use that language here. You can have a difference of opinion, but don't push your limits. Don't be insulting, and that's where I draw the line. Of course, I have the bot thing that's working in the chat. That takes care of a few things, certain words, blah, 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 things like that. But people can still find a way to be insulting, or even some of these people are sexual harassment. Like, I see some of the comments, man, and I'm like, man, some of you people inquire about sexuality way too fucking much. Like, I mean, and you should be careful about that. But sometimes the bot thing doesn't pick it up, But to the mods, just try to let everybody say their piece, as long as they're saying it respectfully. And because I want people here to dialogue, but I also want people to be honest. That's an offense too. When you are reciting lies, then that's also an offense. Okay. And, that has to be dealt with too. I can't just promote lies. Somebody in here said something about Obama harmed Obama. He's the one that messed up the healthcare system in the United States. And I said, no, man, that's not possible, because Obama is only a person that signs bills. He's the executive. Congress and the Senate, the representatives of all the people of the United States of America, both Democrat and Republican, made that bill and passed it on, and if they wanted to stop it, they could stop it in the Supreme Court anytime they want. They got a right wing Supreme Court. They could stop it. But in any case, it's not Obama. OK, blame it on the Democrats in the Congress and in the Senate, and some of the Republicans that helped them, if any. You know what I'm saying? But in any case, let's try to stick to the truth, and also somebody said they were selling $100 insurance. Well, I had to block that person, because you can't be out here straight up lying like that. You don't have $100 insurance that works. Don't come to my page trying to scam people. Are you out of your goddamn mind? You should be slapped. Slap yourself, as a matter of fact. OK, don't ever come around me like that. That is pathetic. Be real. Do your work. Do some good for this world. but stop fucking scamming people, acting like someone have to treat you with respect. You see what I mean? Now, on to JD Vance. Now that I said that, let's see here. JD Vance, he's gotten himself in some, he's getting popular in the wrong way. So let's just say that.
The Pope's job is to preach the gospel, okay? And again, I think that sometimes in the context, like, it doesn't bother me, even when I disagree with him. And I have a lot of respect for the Pope. I like him. I admire him. I've gotten to know him a little bit. It doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues of the day, frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying a particular principle. So the most obvious example is, it has frustrated me that some of the Catholic clergy have attacked mercilessly the Trump administration on immigration. It is a constant idea that somehow everything that the Trump administration does when it comes to securing our borders is inhumane. And my constant response to that is, how is it humane to allow drug traffickers and sex traffickers to bring little kids across the southern border?
Amen.
How is that humane? But again, I'd almost rather have the conversation. So I kind of like, even when there's disagreement, I like.
When is he going to start talking about the Pope? What the this dude started off, I thought he was going to say something about the Pope, man. Let me just rewind this. This is weird. He just went from the Pope to other people's criticisms. Nobody said, the Pope never said he was okay with sex traffickers, human traffickers, and drug dealers. And all of a sudden, this dude's talking about that. No, he's talking about blowing up what Trump said. The criticism of Trump is that Trump talked about annihilating a people, a civilization. Okay, that's what the Pope said. And this dude is talking about all kinds of other shit.
The Pope's job is to preach the gospel. Okay, and again, I think that sometimes in the context, like, it doesn't bother me, even when I disagree with him. And I have a lot of respect for the Pope. I like him. I admire him. I've gotten to know him a little bit. It doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues of the day, frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying a particular principle. So the most obvious example is, it has frustrated me that some of the Catholic clergy have attacked mercilessly the Trump administration on immigration.
I'm sorry, but when you're policing, you encounter people that are different. The problem with the Trump administration is this: when they encounter people, they don't see people as different anymore. They can't tell the difference between and you can't tell the difference between how they treat an old lady who is mopping the floor from a sex trafficker. That's the problem. And that is the criticism. They can't tell the difference. They manhandle anybody. You see what I mean? and including American citizens. And so that's the problem. Okay, it's not comprehensive. They're not doing anything in advance. They haven't gone to Congress. Trump administration's policy has nothing to do with the people of the United States of America. It hasn't been voted on. They don't even go and say, let's do comprehensive immigration reform. They haven't done it. So there it is. I mean, and if you can find it, tell me what it's called. What is the Trump administration's comprehensive immigration reform policy? What is it? What's the law that the Republicans have passed regarding immigration? Anything comprehensive? What is it? What is it called? What's it called? If anybody knows what it's called, put it in the chat right now. I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes. No problem. You can look it up. You can go and you can Gemini it, Chat GDP, whatever it is. Let us know. Inform the people. You got time. Let's see here. It is 08:59 Central European time. So I'm gonna wait 2 minutes. That will be 9:01 approximately Central European time. Okay, so we got a minute. Anybody know what the Trump administration's his comprehensive immigration reform plan and what it's called that's been passed under him? Let me know what it is. I would like to know the name. What's the question of you? There it is. Yeah, I would like to know the name. Also, you, Kevin, if you know anything about it, let me know. Since you're annoyed, then I will stop. If you can name it, then I'll stop. Okay, how about that? Now let Kevin be, man. Don't Eric. Come on, let him be, man. Don't worry. He does. If he thinks I'm annoying, that's okay. Why is he annoyed? Do you go to places you're annoyed? I mean, that's weird. But he can stay, man, as long as he's polite. But listen, I guess he doesn't know. Kevin doesn't know what it's called, and nobody knows what it's called because it doesn't exist. And that's one of the criticisms of the Trump administration. ICE is not comprehensive immigration reform. It's running around the streets looking for illegal immigrants. Comprehensive immigration reform, it deals with the other parts of the society, the type of immigrants we want and need. What is it? What are the type of immigrants that we want? Where's the law that says that? Where is it at? Whose law is that? Who passed that? Do we want the ones who work, who come to work seasonal for companies, for small businesses, for farmers? Do we want them or do we not want them? Okay. Is anything from Congress about that, or is it all just executive order? Okay, so there's probably nothing from Congress about that, right? So do we want people from certain kind of countries? Did Congress pass something like that from different kind of countries? What countries did Congress pass under the Trump? Does Congress want under the Trump administration? What had they done at Trump's request regarding comprehensive immigration reform? What countries should they come from? Where did Congress and the Senate pass something to give to Trump on that? You see, so it doesn't exist. That's why it doesn't have a name, and that's why none of the Trump supporters can name it, because it don't exist. Trump hasn't done anything, and he hasn't asked it. You know what that means? That means the next administration, right, will be the one to call for, and I don't mean J.D. Vance, because he's not going to do it either. I mean the next administration, the different one from a different party, is going to do comprehensive immigration reform. The one that was in the process of being done when Biden was president, but Trump told Republicans to not vote for it. That same plan, just like the Iranian plan, the same plan that they're about to sign now is the Obama plan. Trump doesn't have an agreement with them yet because he hasn't worked it out. You know, they don't like him enough. And that's the same thing in the United States. Apparently the Republicans don't like Trump enough to even do comprehensive immigration reform. So that means there's no real policy. The next president is free to do whatever he wants until Congress gets up off their ass and makes a law. That's great. That's great news. That gives the president more power than a president before Trump has ever had in the history of the country. Yay! Yeah. What goes around comes around. So let's hear some more. What's he going to say? What is he going to say about Trump that he doesn't really like? About the Pope.
Everything that the Trump administration does when it comes to securing our borders is inhumane. And my constant response to that is, how is it humane to allow drug traffickers and sex traffickers to bring little kids across the southern border? Amen.
But the Pope didn't say that. So, sorry, he missed the point again. Let me play you what the Pope said. And this is ridiculous. And nobody has said what he's implying, actually. And people have constantly reminded him of this, and this administration and the Republicans in power. And they just simply will not recite what the real criticisms are. Period. They just won't. Okay. And that means they're phony. And most MAGA people know they're phony. That's why, and I'm going to exhibit that too. That's why you got all these MAGA folks that helped Trump get elected and JD Vance get elected, throwing his, now they're all like, fuck Trump. And I'm talking about the big ones, the ones that probably will never let you measly broke asses in the room with them. Straight up, man. They don't like your type. You're too broke. All right.
How is that humane? But again, I'd almost rather have the conversation. So I kind of like, even when there's disagreement, I like it when the Pope comments on questions of immigration. I like it when the Pope talks about
He didn't mention one thing he commented on. That's the problem.
abortion. I like it when the Pope talks about matters of war and peace, because I think that at the very least it invites a conversation.
Okay, so here's the conversation. This is what he's talking about, okay? He says he likes the conversation. Okay, so let's see how the conversation
What
sounds.
if your cookie banner?
Oh, shit, hold on.
Your
Damn, did this flip over? Okay, let me flip back. Sorry about that. 2 seconds. Let me get this queued up right. Are we here? All right, here it is.
How can this be normal by such rhetoric? How can people of goodwill not be appalled by such rhetoric?
The first ever U.S.-born pope is now openly challenging the war being waged by the other most influential American on earth, President Trump. Pope Leo XIV tweeted, quote, "Those who pray are aware of their own limitations. They do not kill or threaten with death. Instead, death enslaves those who have turned their backs on the living God. Enough of the idolatry of self and money, enough of the display of power." He even took the extraordinary step to call on people to contact their elected leaders to advocate for peace. A Trinity College Dublin professor told MS Now the Pope's appeal to people to call their representatives are, quote, the equivalent of the nuclear button for the Vatican.
The war must have a just cause. In other words, it can only be used to protect innocent lives. It also needs to be waged as a last resort. The criterion of the just war is that you don't have wars of choice. Wars of choice, by their very definition, are immoral and cannot be waged and cannot be justified. The just war doctrine also goes further then and says, even in a just war, not everything goes. And so there must be great care taken to protect civilian populations, to protect civilian infrastructure. And so by that just war doctrine, again, going back thousands of years on now, any kind of threat to annihilate an entire civilization so that it can never return again, there's no way that can be squared with any understanding of the just war doctrine. When the Pope speaks, he speaks to the conscience of people. He's not appealing to people's political ideologies. He wants to raise something that's more fundamental, and that is what's going on in the American consciousness? What's going on in American society? What has happened to our politics that such a rhetoric, that such a threat can be seen as normal? These are the things that the Pope wants to raise. So he's not interjecting himself directly into a political debate. The Pope wants to do something that's far more fundamental, and that is to say, what has happened to our politics that such rhetoric can be normalized, that can be excused, or that political leaders aren't moved to a concern about this kind of rhetoric? I think that's the kind of thing that Pope Leo wants to put before us.
Okay, so J.D. Vance didn't mention anything that was mentioned there. You see what I mean? So this is a Catholic priest talking about what the Pope said, okay, on national television. So J.D. Vance basically is not going to engage what was said, right? He's not capable of engaging what he says, and he doesn't even mean to, because MAGA people don't even want leaders that do that. MAGA people want leaders that slick, that are slivery and like snakes and don't actually confront what's being said to them directly. Like yesterday, I said this. This is a fact. It's not open to opinion. It's not a matter of whether you like it or not. It's not a matter of whether you want it or not. But right-wing Americans basically are the lowest of the low, because in the Western world, they stand out as very different. Their president and their party doesn't even want American citizens to have universal health care or education. Even where J.D. Vance punk ass went to Hungary, which is unprecedented, he supported a party, right? He supported Viktor Orban's party. That party supports universal education and universal health care in Hungary. They already have it. But J.D. Vance will go there and support them, right? And then he would come back home and look at all these broke ass MAGA people and not support them in the same endeavor. You see what I mean? So what it means is that what they see themselves as in terms of citizenry is the lowest of the low. Everyone else in the Western world that's a right winger sees themselves higher than them. None of them would want to give up their lives for the American right winger, because the American right winger doesn't get shit for their taxes. That is a fact. And they don't even want anything for their taxes. They're like, please, me know nothing for me tax ego. These motherfuckers are, they really actually tell you that. They say, no, we don't want the socialized healthcare. We don't want no socialized socialism. Even though the country of Hungary is not a socialist country, and no country in the West with universal health care is a socialist country. They're all capitalist countries, and these people are too dumb to recognize that. So, the reality is that the MAGA people, the rank and file MAGA people have a far harder life. And it's just true. And they don't care. They're too stupid to care. They rather pay taxes. They pay enormous amounts of taxes and nothing for it. Nothing. So, they don't mind this type of leadership. MAGA people don't mind it. They just don't mind it. They don't mind being the lowest of the low of the right wingers in the West, and they're too stupid to realize it. They don't realize that no other right wingers even want it that way. You know what I'm saying? It's like they at least want to survive. What the fuck? That's supposed to be the first goal. I want that tax money I pay to help me fucking survive, motherfucker. And they're too dumb to get it. Okay, so that's what I mean. The right wingers in the U.S. are the lowest of the low. They're the lowest of the low, man. I mean, I don't know whether to feel sorry for them or to, or to laugh at them, but what the fuck? I guess I have to laugh at them because it's by choice, But in any case, let's hear some more of their leader, their precious leader, J.D. Vance.
So I think some people...
He's going to talk about the Pope now. He's going to give his criticisms of the Pope. Let's listen to J.D. Vance give his criticism of the Pope. J.D. Vance is the most moral person on earth.
The reaction to this is to say, well, he shouldn't have said that. And look, there are certainly things that the Pope has said in the last few months that I disagree with. Let me just take one very concrete example related to this conflict in Iran. So the Pope said something where he said, and I'm gonna try to remember the exact quote, but he said that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. I'm pretty sure that he said that exact statement. Now,
did he say that? He said he's pretty sure. Let's stop right now and double check that. Did the Pope say God is on the side? Hold on. Let's play that back. Let me just make sure I got this right. Want to hear that 100%. Let's see here.
God is never on the side of those who wield the sword.
Okay.
God is never on the side of those.
God is never. Good, I checked that. God is never on the side, because that didn't sound right. God is never on the side of those who yield the sword. I'm just double checking. I don't know what the significance of that is, but let's see here. Okay, here it is. It says, yes, the sentiment was major theme of Pope's message on April 10th. Okay, so posted highly publicized message on social media and reiterated it during the prayer vigil for Peace 11th. His exact phrasing, anyone. So it isn't actually exact what he's saying. All right. So let's just keep that in mind here. Let's see what it is. Here's the quote. Anyone who is a disciple of Christ, the Prince of Peace, is never on the side of those who once wielded the sword and today drop bombs. That is what he said. That's what he said. Here's what J.D. Vance said. He said something a little different.
He said, and I'm I'm going to try to remember the exact quote, but he said that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. I'm pretty sure that he said that exact statement. Now,
you know, he's talking about today. See, so the Pope was literally dissing their ass, them, right here, right now, and the way they do it. So he misquoted the goddamn Pope. I mean, and listen, you know, this normally would matter. This normally would matter in a society, in a world where how can I say this? People want to be correct. But when you got a society of people that don't give a fuck about being correct about any goddamn thing, then you get a different outcome. You see, you get quoted differently. So when you get the whole quote, you realize he's saying what you are doing right now with your sword and your bombs is totally wrong. That's what he's saying. Is it hard to figure that out? But of course, he doesn't want people to know that. So he has to change the quote because now it's just about everybody. No. They believe in using the sword, but it's in defense. They clearly say that. They clearly believe in that. And they don't believe you used your sword and your bombs in defense. It's very, very specific. Okay. It requires a little bit of detail. But if you, how can I say this? Did well in elementary school, you will probably get it. You know what I'm saying? Which everybody didn't. Everybody didn't.
On the one hand, again, I like that the Pope is an advocate for peace. I think that's certainly one of his roles. That's
so convenient for JD Vance. He likes it. No one gives a fuck if JD Vance likes the Pope being an advocate for peace. So what, motherfucker? You like it? So what? No big deal. We don't give a fuck. So, and if you didn't like it, what you gonna do about it? Nothing.
The other hand,
and I'm not even a Catholic. You know what I'm saying? I don't even roll like that. But Pope with that, I'm just saying with this one, I'm on the side of the Pope. I don't give a damn. You don't have to be perfect. Even a broken clock can be right sometimes. And I'm not saying that's the Pope is a broken clock. I'm just saying anyone can say right from wrong any given day of the week. You see what I mean? I don't have to be biased to think that no matter what he says, I'm always going to be against the Pope. No. If he says something correct, I will back that statement up. I'll stand with him if he says something correct. Nothing wrong with that. And I'll stand with anybody that says something correct and is meaning something correct, you know, period. It doesn't matter what religion they are or their color or their gender or their sexual orientation or their nationality or any of that bullshit, their color, their hair texture, their history, their ethnicity, none of it. I don't care. If you say something correct, it's just correct. Okay. That's how it is. Math doesn't do wrong. You see what I mean? Unless, you know, unless there's parts of math you don't understand. But in any case, let's go.
How can you say that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword?
He didn't say that. You see how dumb this jackass is? He's just going to go and further with the same misquote. You know what I mean? The dude doesn't even care. Look, he is bullshitting you. Anyone who is capping for JD Vance is a pathetic individual because this man is blatantly bullshitting you, making poor effort at even trying to really pull the wool over your eyes. So if he succeeds in that, you got a low ass IQ. This man.
Was God on the side of the Americans who lived?
You got to start off with the correct quote. It's like, what the fuck? He's going to double down on his misquote and shit.
Liberated France?
Hey, big girl, what's up? I see you, Bev.
From the Nazis? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from, you know,
See, that's a total purposeful misquote. Do you see? Because that's not what he said, and that's not what he meant. And anybody that is not totally a dimwit recognizes that. You see, and you know, I'm sorry, but this guy doesn't even believe it himself. He doesn't even believe it himself. You know, that's the thing about it. He's not even, or at least he just doesn't look like he believes it himself while he's saying it. I mean, this is what he looks like while he's saying it. Let's hear a little more.
One of his roles. On the other hand, how can you say that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated France from the Nazis? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from, those who had survived the Holocaust?
You see, and so that's not what the Pope said. That's the problem.
Of the Americans who liberated France from the Nazis? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from, those who had survived the Holocaust? I certainly think the answer is yes, and I agree. Jesus Christ does not. I agree. Jesus Christ certainly does not support genocide. Whoever yelled that out from the dark, he certainly does not. I think that's pretty easy. I think that's a pretty easy principle. Okay, so here's a guy. Let me just say this. This is a guy. No. First of all, random dude who's shouting. Can I finish my point and then I'll respond to what you just shouted? Is that okay? Okay, great.
Yeah, can we give him 1 second to answer this?
So let me just finish this question on the Pope, and then I want to respond to what this guy said. So, number one, when the Pope says that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword, there is more than a 1,000-year tradition of just war theory. Okay? Now, we can, of course, have disagreements about whether this or that conflict is just, but I think that it's important, in the same way that it's important for the Vice President of the United States to be careful when I talk about matters of public policy, I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology.
This is so funny because, again, I'm going to show people the quote, and he's talking about the Pope needs to be careful and all this shit. This is what the Pope said. Okay. Anyone who is a disciple of Christ, the Prince of Peace, is never on the side of those who once wielded the sword and today drop bombs. Why is he talking about World War II? World War II is not today. What the fuck? What the fuck is he talking about, man? I mean, put a 1 in the chat if World War II is today. And put a 2 in the chat if the answer is hell no, you dumbass. I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck is JD Vance going on and on about? What the fuck? I'm sorry, but no. World War II is not today, JD Vance. You missed something there, buddy. Okay? What the fuck? This dude is going to go on for an hour about something the Pope never fucking said. Okay? Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, Joe Mama wrote this. Joe Mama, something's wrong with your brain. I'm going to tell you that right now. Go see a shrink. Get some help because World War II is not today. That's just incorrect. Sorry about that. And yeah, so you need to stick to specifics. Learn how to keep specifics in your head because you're going to get yourself hurt. Like you already have voting for Trump and shit. What the fuck?
And I think that one of these issues here is that there has been
I think the issue is you misquoted the Pope. You jackass. What the fuck? He's like, that is the main issue, and you keep doing it again, and you keep going on, and you telling the Pope to be careful, and you're not even careful enough to even quote the motherfucker right. I mean, come on. Excuse my language about it, but I'm just saying, yeah. And then I'm on the Pope's side on this one, so he's not a motherfucker. I'm sorry, not this one. But in any case, this dude. This dude is the one who's claiming to be a Catholic. What the fuck? Look, he's a Catholic and he doesn't even quote the Pope correctly, and he doesn't even give a damn about quoting him correctly. I mean, and so there it is. There it is. The man's a Catholic. He's not even quoting the damn Catholic popes shit correctly. I mean, no, let's be honest. The only religion that wants JD Vance is the religion of money. And if you ain't got any, you need to be scared, especially if you're an American citizen.
Again,
and what I mean by money is I don't mean just a measly $1 million, okay? Because you're still in proximity to everybody else that's broke. Your family is still broke, okay? Like, really, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by broke is middle class people live paycheck to paycheck pretty much. They're going to debt, worry about health care, worrying about money. Yeah, I'm talking about those people. Just, it's better to know who you are in the equation than to get it twisted. Your life is being changed because you don't have enough because of what is happening to you right now in your life, the policies, you know, and you should be scared of what they want to allegedly usher in.
Hey, random dude screaming, I told you I'd respond to your point. I just want to respond to this question first. But I think one of the issues here is that if you're going to opine on matters of theology, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure it's anchored in the truth, and that's one of the things.
Anyway, so this is a Catholic man, allegedly. He says he is, and you can see the man is just out here boldly lying to the public. Doesn't care. And this is what I'm telling you. Somewhere even, did you notice something? Trump, he goes out there again because he has fuck you money. JD Vance doesn't. JD Vance wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Trump was. So Trump has always had fuck you money. Trump is always does what he wants. And if you don't like it, fuck you, basically, right? So that's how Trump does things. JD Vance, Marco Rubio, they can't do things like that. Howard Lutnick, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, they can be finished any day Trump decides it because Trump is the president. He's the one that helped them, that gave them all this access. He can take it away before he leaves anytime he wants. So even though they have a lot of money, they're still scared of the president. You see what I mean? The president can change their life, right? Now, but that's not the case with JD Vance because he doesn't have money and he ain't the president. That's not the case with Marco Rubio. He doesn't have money and he ain't the president. So he doesn't have either. He don't have political power or economic power. So, you know, they're afraid. You know, he's afraid. Vance is afraid. He will do anything for anybody, which is why he's out here capping for Trump right now, because he will do anything. And later he will do the same for Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. You see, he will cap even more because he is not a stand-up person. He's not going to speak truth to power. That's not JD Vance. And it ain't Marco Rubio either. You see what I mean? So, so he basically is showing you this because he's going to lie about the goddamn Pope. Like, who does that? Who does that? You know, most people, even if you're not a religious person, and even if you're not of that religion, if you have another one, you're not going to go that far. You're still going to not want to lie about religious figures. You know, you're going to understand that everybody has a spirit. You know, everyone is connected to the universe somehow. Shit happens. And when the universe doesn't want you around anymore, it has a way of getting rid of you. You see what I mean? So everybody knows that we're all connected, all living things, the universe, we're all connected. We're all connected. And if you don't feel that, yeah, I feel sorry for you if you don't feel that. But that's my opinion, at least, you know, and having that power and that knowledge reflects in how you treat people. So there are plenty of people that don't feel like we're all connected. Because if you feel like you're all connected, you will be wary of the harm you do to others, how you treat others, you know, even how you speak of others. You will be wary of that. You see what I mean? So JD Vance is talking about the leader of a religious institute, and the man is out here lying. He's lying about, one, what the man actually said, and you heard it because it's been displayed. And now he's going on to lie, to broaden the fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? So this is who you dealing with here.
That I try to do it.
He wants to be the next president.
It's certainly something I would expect from the clergy, whether they're Catholic or Protestant. Now, to respond to this guy here, he said, I believe he said the administration supports a genocide in Gaza. And here's my response to that. When we came in, the humanitarian situation in Gaza was an absolute catastrophe.
Oh, let me guess. He's going to blame that on Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know who's the person who got a peace agreement in Gaza? Donald J. Trump. So if you want to complain about what happened in Gaza.
Oh, okay. But I thought Hamas told them no, they want to stick with the Biden plan that they already have. I don't know. Let me look that up. Did Hamas tell Trump regarding his offer for a new peace plan that they would rather stick with the Biden plan they just agreed to? Let me see here. I mean, because I could be wrong. Like I said, everybody has the potentially to be wrong. You see? So let's see here. It says here, while Hamas initially pushed back against certain terms of President Trump's 20-point plan, in late 2025, they ultimately accepted it as a basis for negotiations rather than outright sticking with the previous. Okay, so they decided that they would go into new negotiations. The Biden plan, the 3-stage ceasefire deal from mid-2024, had largely stalled by early 2025. When Trump returned to office, he presented a take it or leave it ultimatum with a strict deadline, threatening that Hamas would pay in hell if they didn't comply. The Hamas response. In October 2025, Hamas issued a formal statement that was essentially a conditional acceptance. They did say they preferred the Biden plan. Instead, they tried to cherry pick parts of Trump's new offer. What they accepted, they agreed to release all of the Israeli hostages, including remains, and expressed a willingness to hand over Gaza's administration to a committee of independent technocrats. What they dodged, they notably ignored or rejected the parts of Trump's plan requiring a total disarmament and the deployment of an international security force that would replace their control over the ground. So does that sound like they agreed to it? Does that sound like there's a plan there? Okay, so the Biden plan. Let's continue with that. The Biden plan. Hold on, here we go. Hamas negotiators did occasionally reference the older Biden framework to argue for permanent ceasefire guarantee. Anything wrong with a permanent ceasefire guarantee? Who sees? So you mean the part they wanted from the Biden plan was the permanent ceasefire guarantee? And what, Trump didn't want that? Isn't that? The Biden plan comparison. Hamas negotiators did occasionally reference the older Biden framework to argue for a permanent ceasefire guarantee. What's wrong with a permanent ceasefire guarantee? Anybody got a problem with a permanent ceasefire guarantee? Put a 1 in the chat if you got a problem with a permanent ceasefire guarantee. Put a 2 in the chat if that's what the whole fucking thing is supposed to be about in the first place. I mean, what the fuck? But nonetheless, it is what it is. Okay. Oh my goodness, man. Occasionally referenced the older Biden framework to argue for a permanent ceasefire guarantee, which they felt was clearer in the previous deal. However, under heavy pressure from the mediators in Qatar and Turkey, they pivoted to Trump's framework because it was the only live offer on the table. So Trump's plan didn't have a permanent ceasefire guarantee. And he sees that as a success. That's JD Vance for you, though. I mean, all you have to do is just go for it and check out whether the dude's shit is true or not. I mean, that's all I'm doing. It's not like I know. I just doubt the man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not doing it wrong. I'm actually going to research and find out. I'm not trying to be like him, just fucking openly lying to people and shit on the fucking TV. It's like, damn. In any case, yeah, here we go. Let's go back.
a genocide in Gaza. And here's my response to that. When we came in, the humanitarian situation in Gaza was an absolute catastrophe. You know who's the person who got a peace agreement in Gaza? Donald J. Trump. So if you want to complain about what happened in Gaza.
So so he got a peace deal that doesn't have a permanent ceasefire guarantee. Does that make any goddamn sense?
We came in, the humanitarian situation in Gaza was an absolute catastrophe. You know who's the person who got a peace agreement in?
He said it himself, a peace agreement. That's what he calls it. A peace agreement with no permanent ceasefire guarantee. That's just... So, I mean, but listen, I'm not saying you have to care about Palestinians, and I'm not saying you have to care about Israel, and I'm not saying you have to care about anything outside of the U.S. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, do you care about the truth? That's all I'm asking. Do you care about the truth? Because if you still support J.D. Vance or Trump, you don't. That's what we just have to put on the table. Everybody has to know that. Fuck whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or independent. None of you are any better than each other. You see what I'm saying? And you're all in a fucked up situation. Straight up. So my question to Democrats, Republicans, and independents is very simple. Do you care about the truth? Put a 1 in the chat if you care about the truth. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't care about the truth. Why would I assume you do or you don't? Put a 1 in the chat if you care about the truth, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or independent. And put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Let's see who doesn't care about the truth, because there are some people out there that don't. You know, you can't assume that everybody's like that. You see what I mean? So for me, it's about the truth before you even get to anything else. So that should be the center of it. You see what I mean? Before you even care about what's going on outside, do you fucking care about the truth at all? I mean, what the fuck? Because you're going to have to apply that to any endeavor. You see what I'm saying? Like, no matter if you're dealing with Palestine or Israel, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to use the truth, care about the truth to get anything fucking done with anything. So you can imagine this dude this is going to be a nightmare for people. This guy is no good. You know, Americans, whether you're Republican, Democrat, or independent, you better be out to impeach this entire administration, because you are in trouble. Republican, Democrat, independent, you are in trouble. Because these folks with this money, they don't give a damn about you. And they don't give a fuck what your political party is. You know, like, seriously, you got to wake up. They don't care. And people outside, they are a threat to you too, because you've already seen what they're willing to do. They're willing to attack other NATO nations. They're willing to come and take your land because you got natural resources. Even if you're in NATO, they're prepared for that. They've already explained that. You see what I'm saying? They're prepared to ally with Putin. Yep. So, you know, I don't even think you got till 2028. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, yeah, you definitely don't have it. Trump is not making it to 2028. He's done. This guy is too goddamn finished. He is done. It's not even that I want him to be done. It's just that, and it's just that he's goddamn old. The man is old. The man is old. He's going down. He is going down. He is going 100%. He's not making it to 2028. and you don't know, you never seen anybody in his condition that has. And if you look at, somebody brought up, so what about Biden? Well, you didn't want, Biden's not the president. So you already handled that problem. So what are you talking about? Your problem is that Trump is older than Biden and in worse condition as a president. So this dude, this is crazy, man. And but by the way, hold on. The person who said better than Biden, Robbie. Let me just go back and see if Robbie answered that last question. Let me just go back here. Sorry about that, because this tends to happen a lot. Yeah, okay. So no. So that's what I thought. No worries. Hey, Robbie, let me ask you a question then, since you're here. Does the truth matter to you? Like, does it matter if someone lies or not? If one of your leaders lies, let's say J.D. Vance, for example. If J.D. Vance misquotes the Pope, does that matter to you? Put a 1 in the chat if it does, and put a 2 in the chat if it doesn't. Robbie. What is Robbie says also to people? You didn't complain about Biden, but you never asked me about Biden, so you don't know. You didn't even bother to ask. You don't even care. You see what I mean? Like, where'd you get that from? Yeah. You see this? So Robin, yes, he misquoted. You got it. We just went over this. You didn't hear it? Here, let me go back for Robbie. This is a special one for Robbie, because just so Robbie actually can follow, because he apparently, let's just say he didn't get that last part. He just came in the chat and doesn't know what we're talking about. Okay. So here's the quote. Let's go all the way back here. The question was,
I'm going to try to remember the exact quote, but he
here it is. A person asked him. So let's go here.
said in the last few months that I disagree with. Let me just take like one very concrete example related to this conflict in Iran.
Listen up, Robbie. It's very important to listen right now.
Very concrete example related to this conflict in Iran. So the Pope said something where he said, and I'm gonna try to remember the exact quote, but he said that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. I'm pretty sure that he said that exact statement. Now, on the one hand, again,
and he said he's pretty sure he said that exact statement, which is incorrect and wrong.
I like that the Pope is an advocate for peace. I think that's certainly one of his roles. On the other hand, how can you say that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated France from the Nazis? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from, those who had survived the Holocaust? I certainly think the answer is yes. Yes, and I.
So he said I certainly think the answer is yes when he's talking about France and the Holocaust. Germany, Nazi Germany, and France, Nazi Germany taking over France and the Holocaust. Right? He said he certainly thinks God was on their side. But the problem is that that's not what the Pope said. So he talked about something the Pope wasn't talking about. The Pope wasn't talking about 70 years ago in World War II. Here's his quote. Anyone who is a disciple of Christ, the Prince of Peace, is never on the side of those who once wielded the sword and today drop bombs. He forgot the today drop bombs. He is making a statement about what this administration is doing. And he used the word today to let you know. This is what the context is. Today. So he did not tell the truth about the Pope. And he's claiming to be a Catholic. So there it is. Now, do you care about the truth? Is my question. Put a 1 in the chat if you care about the truth. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. And here's the thing. The truth is he misquoted the Pope because the Pope is talking about today and he's not talking about World War II. There it is. He misquoted the man. He didn't, even in his own words, he didn't quote the man accurately. That is the truth. Do you care about that, Robbie? Robbie, I'm looking for your answer. So there you have it. See, that's my point. I just illustrated my point for everybody, just to make it clear. This is what we deal with. And so that's how it is. You know what I mean? And of course, you just have to be aware that there's still some people that are still hanging on Trump's nuts, right? And they're broke, like Robbie. I mean, extremely piss poor. They all don't have brains, y'all. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? They all don't realize when they're in trouble, because they're too caught into what political party you're in. You see how Robbie, what about Biden? You didn't criticize him. Like, that's such a unique, original fucking question. You know what I'm saying? That's his comeback. What about Biden? You see, that's admitting that he is that he is totally polarized. It has to be now that you have to go to Biden. Because, of course, that would be the opposite of Trump. No, it wouldn't be. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's boring. What about Biden? Okay, yeah. Yeah, what about Biden? Biden's on the beach with his glasses on right now, enjoying a margarita or whatever the hell he wants to drink. I don't know. Ice cream. Okay. Yeah, what about Biden? What about him? Where is he at? What is he do? Is he in charge today? Who went to war with Iran? Who is the Pope talking to? Pope's not talking about Biden and shit, And you see Robbie still doesn't want to tell you whether the truth matters, because that's an indication that the truth does not matter to him. Very clearly. So everybody just take note of that. The truth doesn't matter to Robbie's ass. All right, so here we go. Now let's follow up with this. This is Adam Mockler's his criticism of JD Vance here. So let's take a peep at this real quick. Big up to Adam. Big up to Adam Mockler also, man. Appreciate. I enjoy his show and watch it all the time. And what I like about him is he's one of the younger ones, and so I guess I like that spirit. How he's not leaving it up to the old folks. And nothing wrong with old people. Most of the people that listen to me are adults, 35 and over, and maybe half or something like, not half, maybe half or 55 and older. So I'm 55 myself, but I like the fact that young people, it's so important to encourage young people to play a part in their own country's politics. Do not believe that it doesn't matter. It matters, and it matters, in the most significant way to your life. If you pay taxes and you don't involve yourself in politics, you're stupid. Okay? You falling for the okie doke. Just realize that, So you better vote. All right, so let's go.
No juice, no charisma, no riz, as my generation says. He spoke at UGA tonight in Athens, Georgia, to a quite small, thin crowd, and got confronted early on about his administration's war crimes. And then later on, a UGA student very respectfully asks him about his immigration policy and to define his, ideal path to citizenship, because the administration is kind of making it harder for immigrants to assimilate, to come to America, is actually removing temporary protected status from certain groups, therefore creating more undocumented immigrants because he's removing their status. So it's all contradictory, and JD Vance has been the face of this. He's been out there leading this. That's actually why the crowd is probably so thin.
Oh, yo, do me a favor. Click the like button if you haven't clicked the like button. It helps more people find the stream and find the video also as well. Thank you.
And I want to show you this video of the empty crowd at UGA. This is a massive school in Athens, Georgia, a rather red state, and the auditorium is just empty. This is while JD Vance is there. There's nobody in the crowd, therefore confirming that JD Vance has no juice, no charisma, no riz theory. But when I show you how he handles the situation, it's only confirmed even further. As always, make sure to drop a like on the Adam Mockler feed to help boost this message. We're going to be pumping out this breaking news, this debate content, all for you. So thank you for everything. And before I play this clip, let me just prove to you that JD Vance is not some moderate on immigration. He keeps trying to put forth this moderate worldview, but his actions are different. I hate when JD Vance tries to...
I don't know what the hell is wrong with Rob, but I showed the exact quote, and he's still... What's wrong with you, man? You don't pay attention to the screen? You didn't see that? Everybody else saw that. And I read it to you. This is the exact quote from the Pope. And this is the exact quote that J.D. Vance misquoted at this rally where barely anyone showed up to see his insignificant ass. Okay? Whether they're Republican or not. Even the Republicans are like, man, this motherfucker. Here it is. Anyone who is a disciple of Christ, the Prince of Peace, is never on the side of those who once wielded the sword and today drop bombs. Today. Somebody dropping them today? He's talking about Trump and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance misquoted him, and then J.D. Vance went on because he left out the "and today drop bombs." Okay, that was what he said. He left that part out conveniently, and then he went on to talk about World War II, which is not today. It's very simple. So there you have it. Now, if you don't understand what has just been exhibited to you, go back to goddamn elementary school, man, because it doesn't take a genius to understand it. You have been corrected. J.D. Vance misquoted it, and I asked you very clearly, do you care about the truth? And I said, put a 1 in the chat if you care about the truth. You don't care about the truth. You didn't put a 1 in the chat. There it is. So it's over, you know? Truth matters, and quoting people correctly matters. J.D. Vance misquoted the Pope. J.D. Vance is a self-professed Catholic, and he misquoted the motherfucking leader of his own goddamn religious group. I mean, how much of an idiot do you have to be to just comfortably go around anywhere and casually do that and act like you don't have a burden to correct yourself when you do it? But that's J.D. Vance, because the people that support him don't even care if he tells them the truth. So if his own supporters don't even care if he tells them the truth, then he doesn't care about what anyone thinks regarding the truth. He'll lie to anybody.
Wash his views by saying,
Now let's go on. Adam Mockler is covering this event where J.D. Vance also was. The fucking place where he misquoted the Pope was totally empty. Completely and utterly goddamn empty. I mean, here it is. This is what it looks like when it's empty, when this guy is saying this stupid misquote.
Undocumented immigrants, because he's removing their status. So it's all contradictory, and J.D. Vance has been the face of this. He's been out there leading this. That's actually why the crowd is probably so thin. I want to show you this video of the empty crowd at UGA. This is a massive school in Athens, Georgia, a rather red state. And the auditorium is just empty. This is while J.D. Vance is there. There's like nobody in the crowd, therefore confirming that J.D. Vance has no juice, no charisma, no Riz theory. But when I show you how he handles the situation, it's only confirmed even further. As always, make sure to drop a like on the Adam Mockler feed to help boost this message. We're going to be pumping out this breaking news, this debate content, all for you. So thank you for everything. And before I play this clip, let me just prove to you that J.D. Vance is not some moderate on immigration. He keeps trying to put forth this moderate worldview, but his actions are different. I hate when J.D. Vance tries to sane wash his views by saying, oh, I just want there to be a normal path to citizenship and I want people to come legally. Well, dude, when American citizens are out there protesting in the streets and they get killed, you cheer. When American citizens get killed because they're protesting legal immigrants getting detained, you cheer. J.D. Vance doesn't just want illegal immigrants to be deported. He wants to cut off immigration. The Trump administration's DHS accounts and the accounts that J.D. Vance are linked to in the admin have been posting about 100 million deportations. That means 50 million immigrants plus 50 million, children or parents of immigrants as well. He wants mass deportations. Do not let him sane wash his views. Look at this clip.
Did you plan to apologize to the family of Alex Peretti?
For what?
For, labeling him an assassin with ill intent.
Well, again, I just described to you what I said about Alex Peretti, which is that he's a guy who showed up with ill intent to an ICE protest.
No, but if it's determined that his civil rights were violated by this FBI investigation, will you apologize to that?
So if this hypothetical leads to that hypothetical leads to another hypothetical,
it's a real case.
Will I do a thing? And again, like I said, we're going to let the investigation.
It wasn't a hypothetical. This is exactly what happened. The investigation wasn't able to play out because the Trump admin spiked it. So again, Do not let them gaslight you into thinking he's got some common sense worldview on immigration. There is a reason their polling is in the gutter on all topics, but mainly immigration. There's a reason they fired Kristi Noem, and there's a reason this crowd is entirely empty.
Yeah, why'd they fire Kristi Noem? Why'd they fire Kristi Noem? I mean, why'd they fire Pam Bondi? If everything is okay, why do you fire Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi? I'm curious about that. I mean, but this is again, is it? I mean, I thought you fired people that didn't do their jobs. I thought you fired people that weren't competent. So the same person that went in there firing people, quoting that they're not competent because DEI, guess what? Now he's firing. He's firing who? People that he hired personally, and they were totally against DEI. So what's the excuse now? What is that? Don't tell me they weren't qualified. It wasn't just that, because he already got rid of those people. He had to fire them for being less than unqualified. The other people were qualified, actually, but because of the DEI theory, he never exhibited anything on paper that showed they didn't do something. But these people were hired outside of the DEI rules. So what they do wrong? They must have done something wrong for real. You know what I'm saying? It is. So tell me, you MAGA supporters, why did he fire Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem? What's the excuse? What's the excuse now? They were too good for Washington? This shit is crazy, man. I want to see the Trump supporters educate everybody. Why'd they cry? Yeah, let's give it a second, y'all. Let's see them. Let me pull this shit up on the screen. Let us know, Trump supporters. Let everybody in the world know. Let's let the chat, put the chat on display. Why did they fire Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi? Why? Somebody said maternity leave. Okay, like I told you, lying is considered an offense. So be careful about openly lying. Okay. I'm just saying that maybe it's a joke to you, but seriously, let's get real. Why did he fire them? Pam got a pay upgrade. Why did he fire them? Because you don't fire people for that reason. You can step down. Come on. You know what I'm saying? The man told her to fire. She could easily say, hey, can you do something else? But she was fired. Pam, Kristi Noem got a pay raise. Yeah. Let me see something. I just want to check a chat. Damn, y'all removed it before I could even check. Let me see here. Damn, Robert said they wasn't putting out no sexual favors. Robert, clean your act up, man. You said something differently, man. Be careful. Don't write those things. But you could say that differently, okay? You could say, like I said, they got fired for not putting out any sexual favors, okay? That's different now. But listen, yeah, I'm curious. She didn't have a test. She didn't have to testify now. No, she still have to testify. What's wrong with they have to she still has to testify. This is like a sign of being very, very scared. They're scared, man. This is like the lady still has to testify. It doesn't matter. The subpoena was to Pam Bondi. It wasn't to her title or her role. It wasn't that. It's to the individual that was making decisions. That's what they want to know about it. And they don't care whether she's still the director or not. You know what I'm saying? They don't care if she's the AG or not. They still have to ask her these questions. So it doesn't matter. That doesn't save her. As a matter of fact, she didn't show up. And she's in serious legal jeopardy. Pam Bondi's in serious legal jeopardy right now. Because they can fine her anything. They can fine her like $10,000 a day. You know what I'm saying? And they can do more if they want, but I think they're going to start off there. Let me see. They said no to him. Yeah, that's why they were fired. Thank you, small town crystals. You actually correct about that. I agree. Lie under oath, e-file. Yeah, maybe they did that. I mean, she did lie under oath. Yeah. So he fired her. Let me see here. Yeah, please no misogynistic comments. Yeah, thanks, Eric. She can plead the fifth. She can plead the fifth to get somebody better. Yeah. Is it to get somebody better? I think so. Or somebody to do what he wants better. It's impossible to do what Trump wants better. They did an excellent job. It's just illegal. Goddamn. He's asking them to goddamn lie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in any case, let me see. Okay, we're talking about scum, so it rolls off the tongue. Anyone dating 15-year-olds don't deserve respect. Yeah, I hear you. I'm just talking about that. The algorithm is blocking you, man. That's what I mean. It's going to block you. So, and also others, what I'm saying, maybe. But in any case, I'm not saying it for respect reasons. I'm just saying, you don't have to be respectful. I'm not saying that either of Trump, because I'm not. I just mean, yeah. In any case, if I recite it, I don't want to recite things like that. So I have to say it too. But in any case, and also other people got to read it, but it's okay. No worries. Let's continue now. Now that we've covered that, let's hear the rest of what Adam Mockler had to say about this chump ass JD Vance. I mean, Jesus.
Past who have enriched this country. And look.
Okay, hold on. Oh, he go.
And two, what I would say is, you heard me talk about H-1B fraud, because I think there is a lot of fraud in the H-1B system. And I think you can believe on the one hand that there's a lot of fraud in the H-1B system, while also believing that there are people who have come to the United States in the past who have enriched this country. And look, I'm married to the daughter of immigrants from India, and I love my in-laws, and they're great people, and they've been great contributors to the United States of America. But I also think that
really, there's a but in there. I love them; they're great people, but.
With AI,
you can create
Yeah, JD Vance always does this butt thing, and it gets him in trouble basically. But I'll do it too. But that's JD Vance. Expect him to talk about the good and the bad immigrant and what they do. So just to make it clear, I don't know what he's talking about. People that came to the country and all of this stuff. And listen, in the turn of the century. They didn't, and not even the turn of the century, and even after, they didn't ask people anything. There was no requirement to just walk into the United States of America. There was no requirement. Zero requirement. I think the only requirement is that you didn't look physically sick. That was the only reason why they were rejecting people. And I think it's pretty much the same, not the same, but far less requirements after World War II, far less requirements before, even extremely none, almost none, practically none before. You see what I mean? So the country is built by immigrants, and you can observe that through the laws about immigrants the entire time. It was an open, free for all. Don't ever forget that Native Americans are like 1% of the United States of America. Just understand that. Let me see something here. So, let me see. What percent are Native Americans in the USA? Just to be clear, I don't like to misquote things like JD Vance. At least I'll correct myself. Okay, so the percentage of Native Americans in the United States varies depending on whether you count those who identify as Native American alone or those who identify as Native American in combination with other races. Okay, so yeah, that's true. I understand that. That also matters. That's another side note. As of April 2026, based on the most recent Census Bureau estimates, Native Americans and Alaskan Native alone approximate 1.4% of the U.S. population. So I'm correct. Now, when you're dealing with, let me see, 1%, 1.4%, that's 4.8 million people. Alone or in combination, roughly 2.2 or 2.3 of the population, 7.7 million. All right. So in combination with other ethnicities, people that are mixed descent. Right. So that's important to note when JD Vance is talking this stuff, because he's talking about immigration in a country where literally literally 97% of the population are not connected. Their ancestors are not really connected to the United States of America at all. Like, I mean, I'm just saying that. So keep that in mind. And they didn't really have immigration laws. Even in the turn of the century, turn of the 19th century, you could just walk in. So just so you hear that. When you want to talk about good and bad immigrants, right? And who the descendants are, the good people that came and worked hard and blah, 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 which I don't need to do because my ancestors go back on both sides, goes back to the colonial period. I'm not even thinking that everyone was worked hard or I know everyone didn't work the same because slaves couldn't earn a penny. You know what I'm saying? So everybody obviously didn't work the same. What the fuck? Women, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not even in the debate. I'm not using the rationale of this dude. What the hell did he get that rationale from? You could only come to the country if you worked hard. What the hell? This dude is just, he thinks slave masters worked hard. What the fuck? He's out of his goddamn mind, yo. Tell that to the slave, okay? You just tell that to the slave, that the slave master worked hard. Okay, sure. Huh. Try being a slave if you think the slave master worked hard. Okay.
What I would say is, you heard me talk about H-1B fraud, because I think there is a lot of fraud in the H-1B system. And I think you can believe on the one hand that there's a lot of fraud in the H-1B system, while also believing that there are people who have come to the United States in the past who have enriched this country. And look, I'm married to the daughter of immigrants from India, and I love my in-laws, and they're great people, and they've been great contributors to the United States of America.
How do I know that? What does that mean to me? I'm curious about what it means to be a good immigrant. What the fuck? And to contribute. What exactly does that mean? But in any case, I am for comprehensive immigration reform. I'm for more than just rounding people up on the street and kicking in people's doors. I'm actually a fan of something else. That's, I'm a fan of what they tried to do when Biden was in office and Trump told Republicans to not do. You see what I mean? So, I wish Trump would go back to that. But apparently he's going to leave immigration reform up to the next House and to the next, to a Democratic majority House and Senate and president. That's who he's leaving it to. There's no comprehensive immigration reform right now. So that means the type of people that every country, every economy that plans on growing needs immigrants. Okay, that's just the fact and how it works. And everyone in a society doesn't want to do the same jobs. For example, one job for one person to an immigrant may be great. At the same time, the truth is that to another person that's not an immigrant, the job is not considered great. See, they can both be true. You see, and that's what we need to look at in immigration reform. You need people that are willing to do things that every American doesn't want to do. How many of you in the chat right now, for example, want to pick vegetables? Because there's videos about how that happens. Do you want to work on a farm with seasonal immigrants? Yeah, because seasonal immigration is something that happens. People come here for 3 or 4 or 5 months of the year, go home, come back. Yeah, a lot of them work on farms. Do you want to join them on the farm? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to join them on the farm for a year to pay your bills. I'm not talking about your own farm though, Jethro. That's too easy. Okay, that's not the seasonal immigrants don't own their own farms. Okay, I understand you though. And I'm not saying farming is not great either. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, do you want to work where the immigrants work on the farm? You want to do that job? Or is the answer hell no, let somebody else do it? I mean, yeah, only for yourself, of course. And that's a freedom. I agree with that. Of course, I didn't grow up on a farm, but I've lived in the summertime on farms. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful experience. But when you're doing it for industrial purposes, picking, You know what I'm saying? Going like this, picking it and doing it for somebody else, and you're getting paid like the lowest salary in the country that the country allows. That might be different. That might be a different experience. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sure most Americans who are not immigrants would rather not do that. That's all I'm saying. You see what I mean? Keep in mind, Texas, people, don't worry. Patrick, listen, y'all, go back. Let me start over because I see a lot of different comments, and that's okay. But put a 1 in the chat if you want to work on someone else's farm like the immigrants do that come here and work seasonally. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Everything else is not relevant. I know there's plenty of farm experiences that are beautiful, but obviously that's not the point. We're only talking about it in context to immigrants. Okay, that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to discount all the other wonderful realities, but let's get some, understanding here. That's why I'm asking it that way, just to make sure, because that's what, JD Vance is talking about, immigrants that come here and do well and, for the country and all of this shit. I'm not even judging people. You see what I mean? Myself, I don't do it that way. I don't even know what he even means by good immigrant. I don't even know what he means. Who the hell knows what her parents do? I don't know what her parents did. What did her parents do? Did they clean toilets? Did they work at a bank? What the fuck? I don't know. It could be anything. It could be that they're from a high-class family from some other country. It could be like Melania's family. I don't know. It could be like Trump's family, or it could be like someone else's family. I don't know what it means. You see what I'm saying? But JD Vance should know, and he should be able to describe that, and he should be able to describe every type of good immigrant we need in detail that covers all aspects of immigration. Whether it's medial jobs or bank jobs, we should have it in writing. And that's what comprehensive immigration reform is. There should be limits on how many bankers we need from other countries immigrating to the United States, because maybe we got some Americans that need to be bankers. They need to work in the bank. Okay? There should be limits to certain kinds of immigration. But comprehensive means it makes sense for the country we live in. That the reform actually works for the country and the people. They're not offering that. That's the problem. That is the problem. You see what I mean? So let's just go on here. Thank you for replying. No, I saw you guys put the 1s up.
But I also think that
really there's
the 2s. I'm sorry, the 2s.
But in there, I love them. They're great people. But by the way, JD Vance has refused to defend his wife on multiple occasions.
That there are people who have come to the United States in the past who have enriched this country. And look, I'm married to the daughter of immigrants from India, and I love my in-laws, and they're great people, and they've been great contributors to the United States of America. But I also think that when you become an American citizen, whether your family has 9 generations of lineage in the United States or whether your family has 0 generations of lineage in the United States, one of the responsibilities that we must expect of citizens, and I, of course, it's always hard to talk in specifics about your situation because I don't know about it. But one of the obligations of citizens is that you have to think about the best interest of the country and not the country you came from beforehand, and not of any sort of any group that you came from. You've got to think of yourself as an American. The system only works if everybody thinks of themselves as an American.
I don't know what the hell that means, because everybody's not a citizen. All immigrants don't become citizens. What is this dude talking about? You have the right to live in the United States of America without being a citizen. Did I hear this dude right? Just listen to the detail. I'm just saying, listen to this. Let me make sure I heard him right.
0 generations of lineage in the United States. I love my in-laws, and they're great people, and they've been great contributors to the United States of America. But I also think that when you become an American citizen, whether your family is 9 generations.
Okay, he said American citizen. All right, I got it now. My fault. I missed that part. Okay.
Of lineage in the United States, or whether your family has 0 generations of lineage in the United States, one of the responsibilities that we must expect of citizens, and I, of course, it's always hard to talk in specifics about your situation because I don't know about it, but one of the obligations of citizens is that you have to think about the best interest of the country and not the country you came from beforehand, and not of any sort of any group that you came from, you've got to think of yourself as an American. The system only works if everybody thinks of themselves as an American. I remember having this
okay. The only question I got about that is there one way to be an American? How many Americans call themselves Italian Americans, Irish Americans, German Americans? Isn't that normal in the United States of America? What I mean, we have a church. We have a church. Oh my God. We even have what is it? Anyway, you get my point. You get my point. What is it? We have so many things that make us Americans that originate from other places. It doesn't even work. It does. What he's saying, what makes Americans unique is that those things are different for us. That's how we are supposed to think, because we literally bring other shit from other places to America. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. It's like it's our composition that is unique, diverse, and from the globe. You know what I'm saying? And he's like acting like it's not. You know what I'm saying? He's talking this some funny shit. Then all my ancestors become citizens and had towns that were Swedish, Norwegian, German, Danish. Exactly it. Thank you, it. What the hell is this dude talking about? It doesn't even matter which way you think about it. What he's saying is you can't apply it to nothing. It's ridiculous, man. It's like, what the fuck? Where do hamburgers come from? Germany. Okay, where did Popeye live? What the fuck? Was Popeye's story about some dude in the Chesapeake Bay or some shit? No. What about sauerkraut? Why the hell are we eating sauerkraut on our hot dogs and shit? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? What this dude pizza? Pasta, any motherfucking spaghetti and meatballs, pasta bolognese and shit. I mean, this dude, what is it? I don't get this guy, man. It's just, yo, hey, look, you better stop thinking about being Israeli. What about that? You see how this applies? If we were to apply that logic to Israeli Americans, they would be in trouble, according to J.D. Vance. You know what I'm saying? So no one should, who can go with this dumb shit? That doesn't make any sense. And again, I'm not saying this because I'm fucking worried. Like I said, my parents go back to the colonial period in the U.S., both sides of my family. So, and they got different backgrounds, but it's still both sides of the family. And but this is not his criteria for people doesn't make sense. It's not my criteria. My criteria is I want it to be comprehensive. I want it to be analytical. I want it to work according to the data, and I want it to be friendly for the growth of our country, and also for the health of our people, of the Americans, right? But we are very diverse, so it has to fit that. You know what I mean? It has to work with that. And we're also an international country. We have trade all over the world. So it should also work with our allies and our trade, who we trade with, and people like this too. You know what I'm saying? What is he talking about? You don't want to have cultural ties to other groups of people that you trade with? Like, this dude is crazy, man. Either he believes this and he's really sick and is a moron, or he's just saying it to lie because, he's just too stupid that he doesn't realize people are going to check him on his lies, or people are going to critique him. I think MAGA made a big mistake in letting it be known that they're not willing to critique their leaders. I think that's what you're seeing right here. And I think J.D. Vance knows that. So he's attempting to continue and win on that and get somewhere with that. But I think a lot of the MAGA people are worn out of it too now. I think a lot of them are like, nah, man, that was a mistake going at it, and let's just criticize everybody, yeah. But let's hear more of J.D. Vance.
Of the country, and not the country you came from beforehand, and not of any sort of any group that you came from. You've got to think of yourself as an American. The system only works if everybody thinks of themselves as an American. I remember having this conversation with my father-in-law, who's an amazing guy, and and it was actually during a Synod event that I had done, where I had somebody who came up to me, and I'm sure a great person, like a wonderful person. It was a Ukrainian American in Cleveland, Ohio. I was campaigning for the Senate. There are a lot of Ukrainian Americans in Cleveland, Ohio. And this person got really agitated at me because I was saying we should stop funding the Ukraine war, okay? And I still believe that, obviously, and it's one of the things I'm proudest that we've done as administration is we've told Europe that if you want to buy weapons, you can, but the United States is not buying weapons and sending them to Ukraine anymore. We're just out of that business. So a very good thing. But these Ukrainian American, again, a kind person, they probably didn't vote for me after this conversation, but he was kind of sticking his finger in my face saying, you need to support my country. You need to support my country. And I said, sir, with all due respect, if you're an American, your country is the United States of America, not a place that you immigrated from, whenever that
was. It's just rhetoric. He's like, whatever place. I mean, yeah, what place was it? What place is he talking about? Like, that's what I'm curious about now, but hold on.
But the United States is not buying weapons and sending them to Ukraine anymore. We're just out of that business. So a very good thing. But these Ukrainian American...
Okay, so he's talking about Ukrainian Americans. Okay. So they are Ukrainian Americans. Right.
Again, a kind person. They probably didn't vote for me after this conversation, but he was kind of sticking his finger in my face saying, you need to support my country. You need to support my country. And I said, sir, with all due respect, if you're an American, your country is the United States of America, not a place that you immigrated from.
So this dude went to Hungary just a few days ago. When has Hungary been the United States of America? I mean, this is J.D. Vance talking. When did this man in this picture on this screen, when did Hungary become the United States of America? And when did Israel become the United States of America? I mean, how does this match up to any policy that J.D. Vance gets behind? It doesn't match any policy that he gets behind. And I'm not saying it should. I'm not saying it should be this simplified. It's oversimplified, But in any case, according to his own language, and it is unprecedented for any vice president, to go to a foreign nation and interfere in their elections. That's unprecedented. But in any case, he went there. So why is he doing that? We're supporting Israel. I'm not saying we should or that we shouldn't. That's not even the point. The point is, according to what he said, does that make any sense at all? According to what he is totally arguing about, he just went to Pakistan to meet Iran about a peace deal, it's about peace, right? He's been dealing with Hamas and Israel about peace. We heard him just talk about Hamas in the peace deal, quote unquote peace deal that he made with Trump and la. So what is he doing all that for? Why is it our business in the first place? I mean, I'm just saying this according to J.D. Vance, because if you listen to this statement, it's not our business. If you listen to it, it's not our business when he talks about Ukraine, but with everybody else, it's our business suddenly.
The Ukraine war, okay? And I still believe that, obviously, and it's one of the things I'm proudest that we've done as administration is we've told Europe that if you want to buy weapons, you can, but the United States is not buying weapons and sending them to Ukraine anymore. We're just out of that business.
Okay, we're sending weapons to Israel right now.
So a very good thing. But these Ukrainian American, again, a kind person, they probably didn't vote for me after this conversation, but he was kind of sticking his finger in my face saying, you need to support my country. You need to support my country. And I said, sir, with all due respect, if you're an American, your country is the United States of America, not a place that you immigrated from, whenever that was. And it occurred to me, and I know this...
But this is J.D. Vance, y'all. This is J.D. Vance, and this is what he is. Let me see. Let me hear. Now, Legal AF threw J.D. Vance. They said that Trump threw J.D. Vance under the bus legally. So let's hear what that is about. 2 seconds. Let me just make sure I got this queued up right. Yeah, apparently he's thrown JD Vance under the bus. At the same time, he's out here capping for the administration. You know, he's getting thrown under the bus and is getting his ass kicked. And that is the height of being a punk ass, you know. But here's what they have to say here. Let's see.
Vance had been doing a pretty good job of hiding in plain sight as the vice president. Donald Trump figured it out and decided to give him a Kamala Harris moment to try to solve two basically insolvable problems. One, go make sure that Viktor Orban, the dictator of Hungary, wins and campaign next to him side by side and say things that are borderline treasonous about the American political system. And then when you're done with that, head off to Pakistan for a 21-hour negotiating session in which you try to, through diktat, dictate the terms of surrender for a country, Iran, that is not surrendering. After both of those things failed spectacularly, J.D. Vance comes home not only with the tail between his legs, but also with a Pope problem. This for a guy who just wrote his second book about his conversion to Catholicism, called Communion. Not a great way to kick off the book tour, is it, J.D. Vance? J.D. Vance, all he wants to do is be the leading candidate for the 2028 election, and all Donald Trump wants to do is put him through the wood chipper. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF. Let's talk about it. It's gotten so bad for J.D. Vance that he actually...
Somebody wrote, "Make Iran great again." I mean, you know, hey, man, this is what he's doing. Trump has made Iran great again. It's insane. It is insane, you know.
Just admitted out loud that he and America are economic extortionists. Yes, that it's not only Iran that can conduct economic terrorism. The United States can get down to that level too. We can do economic terrorism. Is that a good thing for American values? As the Trump administration's solution for the Strait of Hormuz blockade is to blockade the blockade. Here's J.D. Vance, fresh off his 2 defeats overseas, talking to the American people about we can be economic terrorists too. Play the clip.
When it comes to weapons of war, what they have done is engage in this act of economic terrorism against the entire world. They basically threatened any ship that's moving through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, as the President of the United States showed, 2 can play at that game. And if the Iranians are going to try to engage in economic terrorism, we're going to abide by a simple principle that no Iranian ships are getting out either. We know that's a big deal to them. We know that applies additional economic leverage. And again, Brett, the president wants the Iranian people to thrive and succeed. He has had his negotiation team put on the table a serious proposal. The ball is in Iran's court. Did we make progress? Yes. But we're going to find out from the Iranians whether we can make that ultimate bit of progress that gets us to a big deal.
All right. Let's go back to the Kamala Harris, the Kamala Harrification of J.D. Vance. See, Joe Biden didn't really set up Kamala Harris well to run. You know, he always gave her these really hard, almost impossible problems to solve. Go be the border czar. Go down to the, go down there and fix that problem. And that didn't really go over well. And the same problem with J.D. Vance. He's been trying to hide, understanding his role as vice president, but Trump's like, well, we need somebody to go in there and make sure Viktor Orban wins. Now, I want to talk about Viktor Orban for a minute and Hungary. I haven't had that much opportunity here on Legal AF to do it. It's not just that he lost after 16 years of dictatorship. It's not just that he lost to somebody that used to be in his party, but now talks a lot about.
Yeah, big up to Hungary also for getting rid of Orban, you know. I mean, a lot of people have their views about what goes on in Hungary and things like that, but keep in mind, Hungary has universal health care, universal education, and Hungary has been basically, how can you say this, harassed by Russia. You know what I mean? They're really interested in, how can I see this? Viktor Orban, at least, was really trying to insulate himself inside of the government in all aspects of life, repress media, similar things to what Trump is doing, except he had been more successful, which is scary, you know. But the people of Hungary got tired of his ass, and 2/3 of the population got rid of him. And that means because so many people rejected him, that means they can actually change the constitution of the country. Americans can do that too if they want. They don't even need to wait for a presidential election. They can do that in this midterms. They can, if 2/3 of the people that vote elect the type of politicians that want to clean house and fix some of the corruption in the country, and through changing through amending the Constitution, it can be done without any president signing, because 2/3 means you don't even need the president's signature for it to become law. See, that's the reason why Trump signed the Epstein thing, because it had so much support in Congress and in the Senate. He knew that even if he didn't sign it, it would go back to the Congress or the Senate and it would become law without him. So he did it to save face, but he never had any intention of releasing the files, as it appears. But the same thing can happen. Once you have 2/3, you don't need the president. Basically, you don't need the president, So just keep that in mind. American citizens can do that if they vote, and if they choose that with the people they vote for, cleaning house. If they don't choose better for themselves, then they ain't going to get it. They could have universal health care in the United States of America without the president signing shit. But do they want it? Probably not. Like I said, the right wing in the United States is the lowest of the low. They get treated worse than any other right wing people in the Western world, and it's because they don't even have universal education and healthcare. These motherfuckers, so while they running around hating on people, they have to work harder. They got to work harder to get a fucking education and work harder to pay the bills. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it is the facts. It's the facts, man. The right wing in Hungary has a better life than the right wing in the U.S. because at least they have universal education and health care. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to worry about when someone's getting sick in their family and shit. They don't have to worry about, can they go to school? You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn, can they afford school?
He would run as a
Democrat. In any case, let's get back to the U.S. Here we go. Let's go. Michael Popat.
In the United States, in Peter Magyar. It's that Peter's party, it's going to be a hard one. Peter's party crushed Orban, took 2/3 of the parliament. A little known fact is that Viktor Orban's Danube Institute was the model for the Heritage Foundation and particularly consulted on the creation of Project 2025. Yes, a Hungarian dictatorship was the blueprint for Project 2025 and Donald Trump's return to.
Except J.D. Vance and Trump don't want them to have universal health care access. He don't want them to have access to education. Even Viktor Orban treated his people better. I mean, god damn, you know what I mean? It's just pathetic. It's pathetic. It's a fact. It's a fact. Do me a favor, click the like button if you don't mind. The more likes, the more people come in contact with the stream. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. It helps out a lot. I'm almost up to 10,000. I'm probably, I don't know if you catch me, what days you catch me on, but when I'm doing things right, I'm having some remarkable revelations and sharing them with people, and it's helping Americans see their situation a little bit different. And regardless of what American you are, in my book, you're still American. So I want to help you be better than shit is right now. So I can promise you that. Now, regardless of whatever party you're with, I'm spitting facts over here. If you don't like the facts, there's nothing you can do about it but change your situation. Then it won't be facts anymore. But in any case, let's go.
Okay, so you have that going on, and J.D. Vance actually stood next to Viktor Orban during campaigning and crapped all over America. We can say that now with this president. He crapped all over America in a way that in any other era, he would have been found unfit for office. He'd have to resign. He actually stood next to the Hungarian dictator and said, Hungary can teach America a thing or two. Play the clip.
And I remember the first time that I came to this beautiful country, my wife was about 20 weeks pregnant with our second child. And now we've come back to Budapest, and my wife is 20 weeks pregnant with our fourth child. So there's an interesting way in which our trips to Hungary have rhymed. I also want to thank the President of the United States, who, of course, is a dear friend of Prime Minister Orban and a very strident supporter of Prime Minister Orban, because together, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Hungary have been able to do amazing things. And we're here because we want to celebrate those amazing things. We want to build upon those amazing things. And, of course, I want to help as much as I possibly can the Prime Minister as he faces this election season, which I believe is happening in just about a week, the election to elect the next Prime Minister of Hungary. Now,
so what does Hungary have to do with the United States of America? Okay, I'm just curious. Let me know. I mean, they never mentioned it before. All of a sudden, Hungary became, and let's keep in mind, Putin. This is Putin's boy in Hungary. That's exactly why people voted him out. And they were saying, go home, Russia. That's exactly what they were chanting in the streets of Hungary. Go home, Russia. And that is essentially why this man, and as a matter of fact, let me pull up some video clips and play that right now. Let's see here. Yeah, why not? Because I haven't really focused on J.D. Vance in a minute. So let's give him his just due. And so people that are unaware can become informed. Go home, Russia. And let me see. That was Hungary. It's so funny to have to do this. But let's see here. Yeah, it's crazy. Russians go home, man. It is crazy. Wow. Let's see here.
As Viktor Orban speaks at a rally, people chant, "Russians, go home." The phrase carries deep symbolic meaning in Hungary. It was the same slogan Hungarians used 70 years ago when they demanded that the Soviet army leave the country after Soviet tanks rolled into Budapest. Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government has turned Hungary's As Viktor Orban speaks at a rally, people chant, "Russians, go home." The phrase carries deep symbolic meaning in Hungary. It was the same slogan Hungarians used 70 years ago when they demanded that the Soviet army leave the country after Soviet tanks rolled into Budapest. Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government has turned Hungary's course by 180 degrees towards Russia, opposition TISA party leader Péter Magyar said in an interview with the Associated Press. According to him, the upcoming election will serve as a kind of referendum on the country's European future. At the same time, Magyar does not intend to cut ties with Moscow completely. The opposition leader promises what he calls a pragmatic approach. Pragmatism.
Right. Yeah, sorry about that. So there you have it. I mean, it is what it is. They were actually chanting "Go home, Russians." That's pretty well been documented on. I mean, and when it gets to legacy media, then that means, it's pretty much the cat is pretty much out of the bag. Other little stories, legacy media doesn't always jump on, like healthcare in Hungary. There was no legacy media story about healthcare in Hungary. There was no legacy media story about what else? About the fact that like this thing about maybe there was a little coverage about the fact that Hungary's not the U.S. and that they this administration flip-flops from Ukraine to Hungary on what it wants. But at the very least, J.D. Vance is over there they supported Orban, Orban himself, even himself being one of the more right-winger ones in power. He himself, his government, his administration supported universal education and universal health care for Ukrainians. J.D. Vance's administration is completely and utterly, totally against universal education and universal health care for Americans. So it's kind of weird how MAGA, the people that support J.D. Vance, think that Hungarians are better than them, that Hungarians should have more rights than them. And that's literally what the people who support J.D. Vance believe. They literally believe Hungarians should have more. And when you look at the tax deductions they get, the countries that do have universal health care and universal education, it actually turns out that it's the Americans paying more for shit. Yeah, you pay more in your taxes, and then when you add in what you pay privately on the side from your own, what do they call it, co-pays and deductibles, you actually pay more for all of that. You pay more for education, you pay more for health care, for any procedures, anything, all of it, medicine, everything. And yet, that's why I always say people that support the Trump administration, they believe other people are actually better than them because other people are being treated better than them. They accept the worst treatment of all in the West. Right wingers, they accept being treated worse. It's just ridiculous. But in any case,
I don't expect, of course,
let's just go back to Popak here.
People of Hungary to listen to the Vice President of the United States. That's not primarily why I'm here. But I did want to send a signal to everybody, particularly the bureaucrats in Brussels who have done everything that they can to hold down the people of Hungary.
Exactly, Caleb. Let everybody know what country you're from too, man.
Because they don't like the leader who has actually stood up for the people of Hungary. And I think it's important to say that. There are so many things that we could point to. There are so many economic pieces of cooperation, so much investment that's come into Hungary. Viktor Orban has been the single found leader in Europe on the question of energy security and independence. It is funny to watch prime ministers and leaders in some of the Western European capitals talk about the energy crisis when, frankly, they should have been following the policies of Viktor Orban in Hungary. And if they had, the energy crisis that they're experiencing would be a lot less bad, because what's going on in Hungary right now is that while, yes, energy prices are elevated, they are far less elevated here than they are almost anywhere else in Europe. And that's because of the leadership of the man who's standing next to me.
No, that's a goddamn lie. Listen, again, MAGA people, you got to understand something. Europe is a mixed bag, but it is not cheaper in all places. It's actually, a lot of places are doing way better than Hungary. Hungary is one of the worst places when it comes to energy. And there's a couple other countries that are having it. Germany, France are having energy issues, right? Because they rely too much on oil. The ones that rely too much on oil are having similar, but not the same. Hungary is got to be at one of the top of the list, straight up, right? Denmark, places like Denmark, Norway, they have their own gas and oil. They pump that from the ocean. Norway pumps from the Northern Sea. Denmark pumps from the Baltic Sea. You see what I mean? So then they have windmills. You see, Denmark has windmills. Norway has windmills. Then Denmark also has solar panels now. So their energy, they're more of the more diverse energy companies. So no, it's not spiking like that everywhere in the world. And in places where it's spiking, governments are doing things different than the United States. They're actually price controlling it. The United States doesn't even have the nerve to price control it for its own citizens. So it's ridiculous. Citizens have said over and over and over in America, we're having a hard time. We didn't want this. We don't want these issues. We want to be able to pay our bills. And this administration is not doing anything. Why don't you executive order a price control? Why don't he just do that? And look, somebody who just wrote, you could see how when you speak facts and when you're a decent person that wants well for everybody, you will see that it really hurts some people. Somebody wrote, why are black people so stupid? So you see that really, some people, it hurts when you try to do good, it hurts. Now, I'm just going to make a point here. I'm going to go to this person's channel just so everybody can see who this is, right? Who wrote this, so you can see what happens here when you do stuff like this. Let me see. Is it butter? Here it is. So let's go here. Here we go. Is this person? Here, let me take my camera off too. Here is this individual right here. And you see they joined June 25, right? And they did all of that just to be able to write when they hear me just saying facts. I'm only speaking the facts. Then they want to, and you see how they work? They want to try to insert racial problems. Like that would be a diversion for good people. Like that would be a diversion for intelligent people. It doesn't work, buddy. It doesn't work at all. Sorry, it didn't work on me. I still care about all kinds of people. And it would be nice if you showed a little something about who you are on your page. but you don't. You have no content, basically, because you don't even want people to know who you are. You don't want people to know if you're black, white, Chinese, Asian, green, purple, yellow, red. You don't want people to know any of that stuff while you're saying bigoted things. So at least expect, if a person is going to say bigoted things, at least we should know who they are too. We should know what they look like, what ethnicity they are, what nationality they are. We should know their sexual orientation. We should know all kinds of shit, right? We should know a lot so we could judge them. But this person doesn't want you to even know. So that could be a black person. You don't know who that was. It could be an actual black person that wrote that. That's how it works. So that's why we can't really use it for much here. You see what I mean? They're not intelligent people. But let's continue now. Let's continue. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't hurt my feelings because my life is probably far greater and better than yours. And it's probably been that way my entire life. Thank you. Ha, 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 ha. By the way, what state do you live in? Who's your healthcare provider? Yo, hold on. Purple Butterfly Divine. What state do you live in? Who's your healthcare provider? Let us know. In any case, don't want us to know nothing about it. So let's continue.
And I think that leadership can provide a model to the continent. We want Europe to be successful. We want European families to be able to afford to heat their homes and to build great things. We want Europe to be energy independent and even energy dominant, but it's not going to be energy secure if it continues to follow the failed policies of the past. And so I think Victor has been a great example in charting a course that could lead to a better, more prosperous, and more energy secure Europe.
I haven't even gotten to Pope Leo yet. So then he's got that failed. So then he goes off to a 21-hour bargaining session, whatever that was supposed to be, with Iran through the Pakistanis. And the problem there, you can see from his own news conference after he got back, is that they weren't there to diplomatically negotiate a ceasefire, an end to the war started by the Americans to try to secure the nuclear arsenal, the uranium, to open up the Strait of Hormuz, to come up with some reshaping of the relationship. No. It was by the way, thanks to everybody that clicked the like button and subscribe. I'm almost at 10,000. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I appreciate all the support and the people that show up daily. Today, I guess I'm probably on average, I get about maybe 10,000 to between 10 and 20,000 views, something like that on average. So I appreciate everybody that comes out and listens to my content and continues to come out and support. I appreciate that a lot. There are terms and you must accept them or the beatings will continue. See, that doesn't work with Iran. See, there's nobody in the Trump government that has a feel for diplomacy or national security or nuclear policy or Iran. Who? What? Jared Kushner, the son-in-law? He ate what, in an Iranian restaurant once? He has as much, there's an old joke about George Bush. He had as much international experience because he visited the International House of Pancakes. Same thing with Witkoff, Donald Trump's golf buddy. How does he know Iranian history, culture, the regime? So nobody knows what they're doing. 21 hours of negotiating where they're getting schooled by the Iranians. And you can't negotiate by diktat, which is by dictating the terms of their surrender because they're not surrendering. Wake up. This war is not over when Trump says it's over or Vance says it's over. This war is over when the Iranians say it's over and on their terms. Because this isn't World War II where there's like, or the Civil War where there was a capitulation and somebody signed a treaty and they all met somewhere in Potsdam or in Appomattox or whatever. This is asymmetrical. This is Iran working with China, right? China supplying them with arms, propping them up, being able to do with drones what Donald Trump's trying to do with, $100 million fighter jets and bombs. And they're winning in their own way. That for them, it is 100-year war.
What if you could make a song using...
It is. Well, it's a lot to that. Obviously JD Vance, he can't even tell you what's correct about the Pope. He can't even quote the Pope correctly. So you can't expect it to be any better in Pakistan. You see what I mean? And you can't expect him, if he can't quote the Pope and he doesn't even take quoting the Pope serious, right? Even though he's talking to a world leader, the Pope has a lot of followers, right? It should matter. The JD Vance should want to be accurate, even if he likes the Pope or doesn't like the Pope. He should want to be accurate, right? But he doesn't even want to do the work to even be accurate, right? But if he can't be accurate with the Pope, then you know he's not going to come back and tell you accurate things about what happened in Pakistan, because it's not even public information. They don't show the videos. There's no quotes, things like that. So you can't fact check him. But we did fact check JD Vance on him when he claimed to be quoting the Pope, and he misquoted the man. He changed the whole reference. Pope was criticizing what's happening in this administration today, and JD Vance made it sound like he was talking about World War II. You know, so you know, let's move on now. Now we know JD Vance. I mean, my point is to just illustrate that JD Vance is dangerous. He's dangerous, and he's even he has the potential of being more dangerous to the world, to the globe, than Trump. Not just American citizens, but American citizens should be scared, because if you can, you know, what I extrapolate from a lot of the words that I hear Peter Thiel say, Elon Musk say, what I extrapolate is that they want a lot of Americans dead, mainly poor people, you know, people that are undesirables to them, right? Similar to Hitler. You know, what would an undesirable be? Undesirable person would be a poor American, no matter what color you are. It would be a person where they identify as being, you know, what, LGBTQ status, right? Even though Peter Thiel is very likely LGBTQ himself, he's a billionaire. So, and you've had this kind of hypocrisy in the Nazi party too, right? Now, then there would also be immigrants, people that they could call immigrants. So that would be, you know, Hispanics from South America, Central America, Africans, these kind of people. I mean, the same kind of stuff. And then that would extend over into Caribbean and then African Americans too. I mean, come on. We've seen this all over before. You know, this is what fascists do. You know what I mean? And they just make it work for the place they are at the moment. And then they go somewhere else and support a different one. Just like JD Vance went to Hungary, and he's okay with the Hungary right wing having universal health care. That didn't bother him in Hungary. In Hungary, it's okay, just not in the U.S. You see what I'm saying? So they home it in for whatever population they need to make it work for, you know? And Americans, you got to understand that the reason why a lot of Americans, the middle class and the poor, people of different backgrounds, different colors, things like that, are feeling the heat is because you are part of the undesirable. You just have to understand that's why. Because this administration does everything for the people it believes are desirable. That hasn't been you. That's why you're paying more for gas. You're getting less health care. You're getting everything more, higher grocery prices. And a lot of you, regardless of your color and background, you're worried about your mortgages now. Homelessness is going up, and it's regardless of your background. You see what I mean? It's regardless of it. You know, sure, maybe some a little bit more than others, but let me tell you, it's too many of any group. It should be. You should be able to feel it right now. Just like he didn't care about the goddamn storm that went through Texas and killed all of those campers. You know what I'm saying? Those were Texans. You see what I mean? And he didn't care. Young kids camping. They don't care about life. If you're a person that's been stalled in the airport, spending more hours in the airport, you are a part of the undesirables, because they have their own private planes. That doesn't stop them. It doesn't stop them. And until you figure that out, you're going to continue to suffer. Now, let's go on, because Erica Kirk became part of this fiasco. And it's worth hearing what she has to say. So this is some Jack reporting. Let me see here. Jack, who was it who did this? Yeah, this is Jack Cocchiarella. that did this, and I'm horrible at saying his name, but he's American, even despite his last name. Despite his last name, he's American. You know, it's just a joke. But in any case, let's hear. He's cracking on Erica right now, so he does a great job busting her up. So let's hear it.
Kirk's body was even cold. Erica was all aboard the full-on grift train, and it wasn't just about the money, it was about the power as well, which is why she very quickly endorsed J.D. Vance for president in 2028.
Oh my God.
But a lot has happened since September. A lot of damage to the Trump administration through their illegal wars, the killing of innocent Americans protesting against this regime, and that damage has been damage done to J.D. Vance's reputation as well, which is why tonight he spoke to an empty crowd after Erica canceled on him. This is a complete humiliation of Vance. This is going to be the story of the rest of his.
So that's right. So that empty place that you saw J.D. Vance speaking at, Erica Kirk was supposed to meet J.D. Vance there. It's her damn event, and she just canceled it. She just decided, I'm not showing up. And then you know what she had the nerve to say? Due to security concerns. Well, the vice president is there. If he's there and he's not scared, and you saw how he was talking about the Pope, he was lying about the damn Pope damn near on stage. He's not scared. So what is that security issue about? It's likely about something else. So, but let's listen.
His political career. If you hate him as much as I do, you're going to want to stick around. But it all starts with what J.D. Vance had to say when Erica had to cancel for safety reasons before we get to the shot of the empty crowd and why this means the end for J.D.
So for those of you wondering why I don't have really flowing long blonde hair right now, so I'm going to address it right at the front. Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk. That's right. Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. But it underscores a larger point that...
So my question is, do you believe her? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe her. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. I don't, so I'm going to put a 2 in the chat. I believe she didn't show up because people pointed out this motherfucking place is empty. You can hear J.D. Vance's echo. You know what I'm saying? How am I going to get out of this? It's not safe because it's empty. Like, okay, I can see her being scared of an empty place. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you ask me, the president is there and he doesn't seem scared at all. Look at him. I mean, the vice president, he's relaxed. Look, I even think he got a beer on the table. J.D. Vance is leaning back. He leaned back on her ass on stage. You know, he's not even sitting forward and shit. He's totally relaxed. Look at this dude's body language. Hold on, man. Look at his body language. This dude is relaxed. As a matter of fact, this guy is so goddamn relaxed, man. Come on, let's hear a little something music for him. Everybody just relax and relax and relax and relax and relax. What's this song name? What's this song name? J.D. Vance, can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like this style, I'm staying for a while. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. Or make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. What? I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style. Or pimped out style, you don't understand the logic. See if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. You might tickle for a second. J.D. Vance is even welcome to the party, y'all. What's the name of the song? You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat, just relax. This dude, man. Oh my God. Anyway, he's leaning back in his goddamn chair. This is evidence. This is evidence. Look at the man's body language. I mean, he's having a good old time, you know? And this lady said she's not coming because she's scared. Okay. Anyway.
She has received a lot of attacks from surprising places, perhaps. Tell us what you think about that. Some of the people that have made, part-time jobs out of attacking Erica, and this is the net result.
Sure. Well, first of all, I love Erica, and I know that she did get some threats. And, about 2 hours ago, as you know, Andrew, I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erica was not going to come, and she was very worried about it. And I talked to the Secret Service, and obviously these guys do a very good job. And I said, you know what? Let's let Erica do what she needs to do for herself and her family. I'm sure Andrew will fill in. And let's go and make this an amazing event with the Georgia Bulldogs. And
is this what... Do you really believe this? So he's admitting Secret Service can't protect her. They can't drive her here. They can't pick her up. They can't bring her home. They can't take care of her family. They can't handle none of that. They are incapable. These people are incapable of protecting her. That's crazy. So, maybe somebody said her husband was assassinated. So then why are you outside at all if that's the case? Why do any event? Why'd you do the other events? What's the difference? Again, I don't think you understand something. The vice president of the United States is the second most powerful person on earth. He is the second most secured individual. When he is in the building, that pretty much says you got the best security in the country. I mean, so, okay. Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe suddenly today she got the jitters. Not the day before or any other day when she made the appointment. Not the other loads of events where she went where there's crowds of people everywhere. Ah! And you can't tell who's in the building. Okay, that one must be easier to secure when it's just packed to the T. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to secure that. The empty place, though, that's pretty hard. Okay, let's listen on.
in Athens, Georgia. So absolutely, we're going to do this thing. But
can someone explain to me how Erica Kirk is more, let's say, precious cargo than the vice president of the United States? I understand, okay, getting some threats. But what threats would the Secret Service not stop? Is there any credible threat that could get past the U.S. Secret Service? Right? If there were threats against the...
That's a good question. And it doesn't matter if the person has kinky hair, brown eyes, brown skin, tall, short, fat, a girl, a boy, anything. It's just a good question coming from any normal thinking person. Okay? A person that's halfway educated about the country called the United States of America and how it's run. Okay?
venue or against the event or the speaker. I understand, okay, getting some threats, but what threats would the Secret Service not stop? Is there
good question?
Is there any credible threat that could get past the U.S. Secret Service?
They just coming after Erica. Who is it? The Cubans this time? Who is it? The Russians? Who's after Erica? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Listen, her husband just insulted a lot of people. Okay, that can happen, but nobody's gunning for her. No one's fucking worried about her, man. I can tell you, no one's worried about her. She's getting trolled right now. That's how people are dealing with her. I mean, they're trolling. They're pretending to be her. That's how they're getting back at Erica. They're dressing up and shit in blonde hair wigs and shit and going on the internet quoting her ass and making a fool out of her, making her look like a fool. No one has to kill her. Okay? Yeah, but in any case, let's continue.
Right? If there were threats against the venue or against the event or the speakers, why would J.D. Vance be there? That is
no, Secret Service was not there. Adam, yo, man, listen, man, I'm sorry. Look, no problem, man. I'm not really going to repeat this to people, but listen, you're not blocked from the channel, but you timed out. So listen, come in good faith and stop capping. See, that's the problem. This man just said, I think the Secret Service was there at Charlie Kirk's hip. No. That's not correct. Okay? So there you have it. So see you later tomorrow. All right? Or in another live, man. Just stop the cap.
It's not a credible reason for Erica to have to drop out. The more credible reason is she knew exactly how it was going to go.
Secret Service was at this event where she didn't show up. They wasn't at the Charlie Kirk death. Okay, that's just simple. All right.
How poorly it would be attended. But more than just poorly attended, I think she might have known who was attending, because JD, before he was even humiliated by the leaked video of the empty seats, was humiliated by being called out for aiding and abetting a genocide. It's where I want to start before we get to the empty chairs and Candace Owens' theory on what Erica's broad plan is.
And by the way, not only was our administration like the administration that solved the problem, but the president. Excuse me, sir. Right now, you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years, because we have taken that situation seriously, and that's one of the things that I'm proud of about.
Yeah. It could be that, though. Somebody did. I see there's an interesting point. Dang. Now, that's why I say let's keep to the facts. Dang said, I saw a video with Charlie Kirk today, and he was very against the war with Iran. Yeah, and a lot of people speculate that. And that's different. Now, that's a little different. But the Secret Service wasn't at the event. Now, here's the thing. And this is what I've said plenty of times. And I've said this in my podcast before. When you go out and you're saying things or you're doing things right now, you got to understand someone has been helping Epstein for a long time. Someone that hasn't been revealed. Someone's been helping Trump for a long time. Someone that hasn't been revealed. So you don't know what other dynamics are going on. You don't know that, right? So even myself, I understand that, okay, Charlie Kirk happened. Charlie Kirk spoke against the war, although he went around the country insulting almost every ethnic group that there is, including mine. I thought that was crazy if you want to be safe in the country where the citizens have more guns than the citizens of China and Russia put together. Okay, I said that many a time. That's just stupid. Why couldn't an American just kill his ass? Why isn't that feasible? It doesn't have to be anybody else. But nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? Americans get killed for less. But nonetheless, this is an event with the vice president there. The vice president was not at the Charlie Kirk assassination, nor was Trump, and the Secret Service wasn't there. So this is about the safest place you could be, really, to be honest. And she's been to other events with JD Vance too. So it just doesn't add up. Now, maybe she's changed her mind. Let's say Erica Kirk has been listening to Candace Owens. Maybe that's it. We're going to check in on that. Maybe she's been listening to Candace Owens, and maybe she changed her mind, and maybe she thinks her husband's death is a little weird, and maybe she thinks JD Vance and Trump have something to do with it. Now, if that's what you're saying, I won't block you. But if you try to say some other bullshit like the Secret Service was at Charlie Kirk's death, I'm sorry, I got to block you. And that's the reason why. It doesn't matter if you say it politely or you say it like an asshole. It's lies, okay? And you just need to keep it real. It's okay to have conspiracies, but let's be honest. Let's be real about it. You see that's all I'm saying. So, there's a lot of people that might want to kill her ass. Who knows? But, let's make it reasonable. Let's make it make sense. That's all I'm saying,
Our administration is, whether it's there or Thailand and Cambodia, we have consistently tried as much as we can to solve these problems, not just complain about them like the guy who just ran away angry.
All right. I'm sorry. Let me play that back, though, because I talked a little through it. Let's hear that
Humanitarian aid.
Here we go.
Like the administration that solved the problem, but the president. Excuse me, sir. Right now, you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years because we have taken that situation seriously. And that's one of the things that I'm proud of about our administration is whether it's there or Thailand and Cambodia, we have consistently tried as much as we can to solve these problems, not just complain about them like the guy who just ran away angry.
J.D. Vance, in his infinite wisdom, but really smugness, started talking down to one of the many protesters who called out the fact that Donald Trump and him have committed war crimes. They've killed children. They're aiding and abetting Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people, Vance saying that they negotiated a ceasefire.
Okay, you saying that I was wrong about that. Adam was doing something. You said, hold on. No, V. Oh, is that right, Rafika? Okay, my fault about that. Yo, Adam, if you listening, sorry about that, man. I can't. It's going to last 24 hours, but I apologize to you if that's the case. And apparently it is. Yeah, sometimes I make mistakes, man. Sorry about that. Yeah, again, Adam, I apologize to you. You were talking about something else, and I get it now. So please come back and yeah. So again, I hope you accept my apology. Sometimes I get a lot of trolling, and I like to peep what's going on in the chat, and sometimes I make incorrect judgments, so I hope you forgive me on that one. So let's go on here. Let's continue to watch the show, Adam. My fault, man. Yeah. And Rafika, if you get a chance to talk to him, let him know I said so. But let's continue now. Sorry about that, y'all.
Israel broke, and Israel also broke the supposed ceasefire by bombing Lebanon, killing over 300 people, displacing 1 million. They've displaced 2.2 million Palestinians, 75,000 dead. J.D. Vance does not care about peace. J.D. Vance does not care about children. J.D. Vance should be protested and humiliated every time he steps outside for the rest of his life. And that is what his life is going to be, because his political career is doing that right now. And the easiest way for us to tell that that is the case is by looking at the crowd, or should I say lack of a crowd, at his event tonight.
Producers,
all right,
this
2
plugin
seconds.
helps you finish.
Sorry about that. 2 seconds. Somebody said I can change it, or I'm going to try to do that. And it's just going to take a second, or a couple of minutes, but I will definitely try to unblock he was timed out, so I'll try to untime him out, but I'm not sure if that can happen actually, but I'm going to try. So let's continue. Let's go on.
When he speaks on issues today, frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying regional principles.
So you could see here, J.D. Vance is basically talking to himself the whole time while he caps and while he lies.
Looking at the crowd, or should I say lack of a crowd, at his event tonight.
A little bit. It doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues today, frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying regional principles. So the most obvious example is...
So a totally empty stadium for J.D. Vance, and Erica Kirk responded by saying that she was so looking forward to her time with the vice president, but, her security team, they just stepped in. Candace Owens responded, God, I love this conflict. Stop. This is exhausting. You pulled out because of the bad ticket sales. For the very same reason, TP Faith had to reschedule the Pastor Summit and various other events quietly. People don't believe you and don't line up for you because you struggle to tell the truth about the most basic facts. Where is the video of Charlie appointing you as CEO weeks before his death? The Secret Service sits above your security team. I agree, Candace. Were there actually viable threats, the vice president would not have continued the event. Your closest threat is the shit public relations team you hired that continues to operate under the delusion that they are smarter than the public. They aren't. I really do hate to enjoy this so much, but Candace Owens...
All right, let me bring that back for a second. It says here, stop this exhausting. Okay, this is exhausting. You pulled out because of bad ticket sales for the same reason. So this is Candace Owens actually saying that about Charlie Kirk's wife. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why, but I'm saying it appears to be. It appears to be. When you look at how many people were not there, that would be a good reason to not show up, It makes you look unpopular. And, especially when you're dealing with quantity, right? When you're dealing with the aspect of quantity and relevance, right? At a time in the U.S., their movement is losing, momentum, essentially. The Charlie Kirk light is kind of dimming out, and it's pretty much because Charlie Kirk was going somewhere that maybe Erica Kirk isn't even trying to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. And he turned out to kind of change a little bit in some kind of ways, and he became unpopular to Trump at that time when he started changing. So to me, it seems like people have had enough. They don't hold Charlie. They're saddened by what happened to Charlie Kirk, but they're over the big, bank that he was, and this idea that he was a debater on things. Now, I admire the fact that he was willing to meet people and talk and debate. I admire that. His debate skills and even worse, his knowledge, I don't admire. I don't think he was that knowledgeable about much. And I think people have pretty much figured that out. And then there's the idea that MAGA is at war with each other. Like, they're splintered themselves. And so that also helps splinter that population that she. Now, what's her thing called anyway? It's called, what's that movement called that Charlie Kirk started? I don't even know the damn movement. What is it called here? It says it here. Let me look over here. I was looking forward to tonight. JD Vance. True. What are they called? What? Hold on. Let me see something. What's Charlie Kirk's movement called? I forget the damn name myself, which kind of shows you. Yeah, Turning Point USA. It seems like that is fizzing out pretty much, under TPUSA. Yeah, Turning Point USA. It seems like that's what's going on. And, of course, showing up would be all over the media, and people would point to that because that's what, when you're involved in politics, that's what the TV does. When the president is there, that's what the TV is going to do. And they're going to do it to JD Vance. You better believe it. Even legacy media is going to quote how many people were not there. And I think they already have. So I think she kind of avoided that truth bomb. But let me see here. Now, let's go on. There's a few more things. Let me see here. There's the New York Post made comments on this. I hope this is queued up. Let me see. Here it is.
Wondering why I don't have really flowing long blonde hair right now. So I'm going to address it right at the front. Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. But it underscores a larger point that she has received a lot of attacks.
This kind of reminds me of the Viktor Orban thing, where they're saying that the Russians helped set up, in conjunction with someone else, a phony attack on Orban to make him more popular than what he is, to make it seem like, people needed to support him because his movement was important, false flag. Yeah, in my mind, this is kind of what that reminds me of. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it just kind of reminds me of that. And you're going to hear JD Vance kind of play the victim. You see that, like how they're the victims, but really, when you think about it, when you juxtapose it to how JD Vance talked about, what's the guy that got shot? Alex Preddy. He totally demonized Alex Preddy. You see what I mean? When they talked about the woman, what's her name? What's the lady's name again? That was shot in her van. Renee, I forget her last name. Renee something. They demonized her, and she didn't do anything. She didn't lay a finger. She didn't even curse at the person who shot her. She tried to drive off, of course, but they demonized her, and it's clear she didn't run over anybody. But in any case, the whole incident was violent. They approached her violently with their hands on their gun. And so people are going to be scared, but in general, they don't stand up for when there's a mistake that a police officer makes. they are on the side of the police. They're not on the side of justice, and that's wrong. Not even the police are supposed to be for that. You know, police, when they do wrong, are supposed to stand up for right. You know, they're supposed to want other police to be prosecuted for wrongs too, because at that point they become criminals like everybody else. You see what I mean? And there are police that commit criminal acts. That's why you have other police that investigate them. It's very simple. So, you know, to me, it just seems like they weaponize fear the way they want to, and they weaponize empathy. Now you're supposed to be scared. But when they're talking about like Rush, what is this guy? Alex, whatever his name is. He talked about the Sandy Hook kids being shot. They weaponized that whole thing. They didn't show any empathy for the Sandy Hook children. You know, they didn't show any, you know, and they even associate with people that lied about the shooting. I mean, again, it just goes on and on and on. So I just think people are tired of it and are starting to see through them. Yeah, so I just think it is what it is. It's not going to turn out better for them. But let me see how Fox News covered her real quick, and then I'm going to close out with Nick Fuentes, because Nick Fuentes apparently doesn't trust Candace Owens or anybody anymore. You know, Tucker Carlson. This shit is crazy, man.
Just in the past few minutes, Turning Point USA CEO Erica Kirk canceled a planned appearance at today's event in Georgia after receiving what organizers called very serious threats. Erica Kirk is the widow, of course, of the late conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated last year at a Turning Point event in Utah. Today's rally was held at the University of Georgia in Athens.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the...
Yo, that was quick. They didn't say anything else about it. That is crazy. They just cut it off instantly. Well, that was it. She received threats. All right, now let's get to Candace Owens' ass. This is so funny. This is Secular Talk, and this is Nick Fuentes. He's about to Secular Talk covered Nick Fuentes. So let's hear what his criticism or his critique is on Nick. Let's see here.
Discussed who are breaking with Trump. This is interesting, though, because Nick Fuentes, of all people, is actually going to drop a truth bomb here about how you cannot trust Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly or Candace Owens, because even though right in this moment they're suddenly sounding like left-wingers, right? They're suddenly saying a lot of the shit I would say on my show. First of all, it's a day late and a dollar short. But second of all, what's the long-term trajectory that we're talking about here when dealing with these people? And what are they going to do in the future when it matters? It's like with Pete Kegsbreath, the Secretary of War Crimes. He famously did a podcast with Sean Ryan where he was like, you know, bro, I'm a recovering neocon. I used to think the U.S. military could go and just bomb places and do war and then, you know, make it so that everything is the way we want it. And now I realize that the world doesn't work like that. Well, hold on. He got into politics being a pro-Iraq war advocate. That's literally how he got involved in politics. And so then he's going around saying, oh, I'm anti-neocon because Donald Trump was, you know, saying those things on the campaign trail and he was trying to hitch his wagon to Trump. Well, now Trump doesn't...
Yo, do me a favor, y'all. Those of you that haven't hit the like button, click the like button for me. Let's get to 100 likes. If you're watching on your TV, do me a favor. Pick up the remote and click the like button. It's like 200 people watching right now. Let's get the likes up. I appreciate
illegal and offensive war against Iran. And Pete Hegseth was the biggest cheerleader, according to all the reports. So the best predictor of future action is past action. And when it actually mattered, he was a pro-war hawk. Okay? And so... now, when we talk about these other, the pundits that are anti-Trump right now, where are they going to be in the future when it fucking matters? Well, here's what Nick has to say about that.
As sure as I am sitting here and you are watching this, whenever you're watching this, mark my words, Megyn Kelly, Tucker, almost certainly Candace Owens, all these people that are so against the war in Iran and so against Israel and so hypercritical of Trump, all of them are going to tell you to vote Republican and vote for J.D. Vance in 2028. And what did J.D. Vance do? He sat there in the White House while Trump was at Mar-a-Lago, and they say that Vance encouraged Trump to hit Iran as hard as possible. There was no dissent within the ranks when this decision was made. There was no dissent from within the cabinet, and that would have been the time. If J.D. Vance were the guy, if he had character, if he was America first, that would have been the time. This may be an inflection point in our history. This is a really bad mistake. And it's one that was totally avoidable, and we all know why it happened, because Israel wanted it and they forced us to do it. And as a consequence, now they need $200 billion to replenish our missiles, and now there's an energy shock which will lead to an economic correction, and we may not even be out of this war. We don't know where this thing is headed, where we are right now. But JD did not dissent. He did not protest. He sat there and he encouraged Trump. And it doesn't matter how much these people criticize the war, they will endorse him in 28. They will try to get you to vote for this person. Simultaneously, they are telling you, and they're getting you all ramped up, telling you Trump is evil, Trump is the Antichrist, Netanyahu's evil, Israel brought us to war, this is diabolical, this is pure evil. And then they're going to tell you in 26, you got to vote Republican, and they'll tell you in 28, you got to vote for J.D. Vance.
You hearing this? And, you know, you got to realize these people play both sides of the coin all the time. They preached this, released the Epstein files thing, and then when they got into power, they did the exact opposite. Why? You see, so it's the same thing, same type of tactic here again. You know, they got people on both sides of the coin, and they're smart enough to do that, unfortunately. But yeah, well, this is what Nick Fuentes says. Now, what I'm curious about is what is his angle? What makes him believe this? What makes him believe it? I'm curious, because he's supposed to be a quote unquote white supremacist, right? I mean, this is what he's been accused of. I'm curious myself about it. Why he has this view himself particularly. And is it because he doesn't feel like JD Vance is like, what is this about? What is it about? Is it, I think, well, if I'm learning, I'm also learning, right? But I think what it is that white, quote unquote, American white supremacists, they supported Trump to some degree, right? But they're against Elon Musk, right? And they're against maybe Peter Thiel, this lifestyle that they have, right? There's things about that they're not with. I think Peter Thiel also, I mean, Elon Musk is an immigrant, this kind of thing. They don't want them to take over the country because they don't see them the same way. Peter Thiel is kind of, what do you call that? Freestyle bisexual, allegedly, right? And he's an Epstein Island dude also. And Elon Musk is also, you see what I mean? So I think that's where the issue might be, right? So I think if I'm interpreting this right, he believes that they're going to be bought off, JD Vance. Like, I believe JD Vance is bought off straight up. And I tell people, be scared, be very, very scared. But it seems like the white supremacists are scared for another reason. Like, they don't mind all the bigotry and things like that to a certain degree. But they are starting to become aware that that is something that they use to fool poor people, and that their agenda is also anti-poor white people, which happen to be that same group. You see what I'm saying? What I've been saying also is that JD Vance, Donald Trump, they don't care about poor white people. They don't want them to have universal health care. They don't want them to have universal education like right-wing people in every other Western country have, pretty much. But they don't want them to have that in the U.S. So there's another level to this fascism in the U.S. It's like one step further. They actually want to eliminate that whole group. That whole group is on the menu, you know, also with others, you know, and I think maybe that's where he's starting to realize. He's starting to realize that he's on the menu also. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about that. It's just what I'm trying to make out of it. Because again, I normally would never agree with this guy, but lately he's been saying some revealing things. I mean, you know.
And these are the same people that told you to vote for Trump in 2024, even though we knew then that he would bring us to war in Iran, just like we know now that JD Vance will suck if he becomes the president. So no, I'm not listening to them. Thanks, but it's too late. Thank you, Tucker, very much. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Sneeko. But where were you in 2024 when Trump cut a deal with Miriam Adelson to get $100 million? And in exchange, he promised her regime change in Iran and annexation of the West Bank.
Oh, shit. I had no idea about that. I need to rewind that and play that back. Damn, Nick Fuentes is on fire, man.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Sneeko. But where were you in 2024 when Trump cut a deal with Miriam Adelson to get $100 million? And in exchange, he promised her regime change in Iran and annexation of the West Bank.
Oh, look, somebody said, do you realize you constantly laughing about serious things? This is Lisa Partridge. Yo, Lisa, can I ask you a question? What state do you live in and who's your health care provider? Who did you vote for? Did you vote for Trump? I'm just curious. And here's the thing. The reason why I'm laughing is because you have to laugh. You have to laugh. Of course, there's another reason. That is, laughing helps me get through these things, these serious things day to day. But there is another reason, is that I don't live out the consequences because I don't live in the U.S. So although I didn't vote for Trump, I voted for Kamala Harris. The result that you're living out right now, Trump, I have health care. What the fuck? I have universal health care. My kids do too. My kids have universal education. They get a stipend. You see what I'm saying? So, and I know Americans can be hella hard-headed. Like, I know how Americans are because I'm American. So, born and raised in Washington, D.C., grown up there. I've lived there more, spent half of my life in the USA. Family, both sides are from the colonial period in the U.S. They go back. My whole family's there. So, I lived a little more than half of my life in the U.S., traveled around. So I know Americans very well, and I know how they can be hard-headed. So I know how you can tell them the truth, and a lot of them just won't fucking listen to it anyway. So that's why I laugh. Today was my birthday. There you go. Lisa, happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday to you. Yeah, so that's why I laugh, because what else you going to do? And also, I have to laugh at some of these people because they're just goddamn stupid and they deserve to be laughed at. If this is the misery you want and you voted for this misery, shit, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Why should I laugh? If there's a lot of people that voted for this misery, shit, they would also have my ass trying to live in misery if I wasn't smart enough. But I am. You see what I'm saying? So, but I'm here trying to go over the facts with people, and one of the things is that I think you should rewind the stream too. You will love this stream. Go back to the beginning, because there's a lot of things. I've been saying this for a minute. The right-wing people in the United States of America are the lowest of the low in the West. They are the lowest of the low, and the reason why is because if you go to every other Western country, at least the right-wing people agree with universal health care and universal education. They have those things. That helps your life a lot when you don't have to worry day to day about that stuff every single day, right? But in the United States of America, J.D. Vance went to Hungary. He went to Hungary, another country that has universal health care and universal education, and he supported one of the leaders whose party also is for universal education and universal health care in his own country. J.D. Vance went over there and supported another politician who agrees with that theory in another country, and he don't even want the people that support him in his own country to have that. So we need to wake up our people, regardless of who they are, regardless of your background. This is your situation. Like, if you think this regime loves you, you're wrong. If you voted for the 90% of the people that voted for him, these guys don't care nothing about. And if you keep supporting them, you are going to die. Like, straight up. You're going to just continue to suffer. And at some point, it's going to be too much. Like, straight up. So that's what this stream is about. I hope people rewind it, see it from the beginning, because there's a lot of packed in information in there. And it's not all my opinion. There's a lot of facts in there, things that just cannot be disputed. And it is a fact. The right-wingers in America are the only right-wingers in the West that don't have universal access to universal health care and education. What the fuck? They're the worst of the worst. They don't even want anything for their tax dollars. And they pay a substantial amount. And you have to laugh at the people that just keep wanting to do that. Like, and I'm going to do it. Ha ha ha. Yeah. You know, even Nick Fuentes, I wonder when, you know, but he's speaking some facts right now. So let me let him finish.
You people swept that under the rug and said it wasn't a big deal.
They're frauds. They're con men and con women. That's what they are. And the reason why they've shifted so hard is because the vibe shifted. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that all these people, like in the Brosphere, by the way, the Brosphere podcast people, the vibes shifted very hard against Trump. And the same thing that got them to hop on the Trump train is the same thing that's getting them to hop off, is that they like the vibes. They like the emotions. They like the feelings. They liked, being part of something bigger. They liked riding that wave of online energy. They enjoyed that. And then what happened is that shit crashed against the rocks. And it was no longer cool or edgy or fun or interesting to be pro-Trump. It just became embarrassing and pathetic and humiliating and kind of criminal, if I'm being honest with you, with all the endless fucking corrupt crime sprees going on, enriching himself and his family off the White House, the war crime spree, the fucking bombings of hospitals and schools and steel plants and pharmaceutical companies. And it became like, oh shit, it turns out every criticism of this guy, the most hyperbolic, over-the-top criticisms of him, it was just true. All of it was just factually true. Trump derangement syndrome was always common fucking...
Somebody in the chat wrote, the majority of Americans... What did this person write? The majority of people in the United States don't pay income tax. So what? You have this population in so many countries, but you saying the majority, that's totally incorrect. Are you out of your mind? Like, who told? Hold on, look, and if what you're saying is not true, I'm about to block your ass. That's all. It's just simple, you know. People just need to. You don't have to. You can support whoever you want, but lying, is where the problem is. You know what I mean? Just don't lie to people. The majority of Americans do pay federal income tax, though the percentage of those who don't has grown significantly over the last few decades. So you're not telling a truth. I hope you simply understand that. So change your words. You're capable of changing your words. Do it. Speak with meaning and purpose, but don't lie to people. That's all, man. That's all. So look, I'm going to go, and I'm not going to block you, but I'm going to delete your comment, and please do not repeat it again because it was false. And I'm talking to the Threshold movement. Don't do that. Stop wasting your time and other people's time. We deserve better, and we demand better. Okay? At least over here. And I demand better if the rest of you don't. So, in any case, let's continue here.
Sense. It's just acknowledging the reality of the nature of this fucking treacherous, disgusting, vile, cretinous man. Okay? And it's too little too late now. It's too little too late. They're riding the vibes and they're riding the waves now in the other direction. And they realize that there's going to be a post-Trump Republican Party. Trump is dying right in front of our eyes. He's rotting away both mentally and physically. And all these people know they're repositioning themselves. And they know, we need to be in a better position for whatever comes after Donald Trump. And in order to do that, that means we got to criticize Trump with his most egregious overreaches and abuses of authority. And this illegal war against Iran is a great example of that. And that's exactly what they're doing. But I'm going to say to you guys today what I said the other day on the show. Why the fuck would anybody listen to any of these people when there were liberal and left-wing commentators who were correct, and they were correct way sooner? They were saying all the arguments. Candace Owens the other day goes, and he sold us out for money as opposed to...
All right, somebody else just came in the chat and just made another comment. And that comment, let me show it to you. Here, it's Dino64, says universal health care. So he wants you to listen to him. He says universal health care doesn't work. In Canada, you have to wait on an average 8 months to see a doctor. That's a hard pass for me. Well, here's the facts. No, the majority of people in Canada do not wait 8 months just to see a doctor. However, the answer depends heavily on which kind of doctor you're trying to see. Very simple. So you don't have to read anymore. excuse me, I'm just going to warn you, Dino, whatever your name is, do not lie again here. Okay, I'm going to remove the comment, and if you do it again, I'm going to block you. Mean what you say and know what you're saying, okay? Now, you're not blocked, but change your language now that you found out better, okay? Your language matters, and being accurate matters, and spreading false information is bullshit, okay? So there you have
having
it.
Integrity. Oh, really? Oh, really? You don't say. It's not like, you were warned 1,000 ways to Sunday that Donald Trump is the most corrupt fucking president we've ever had. It's not like we didn't tell you that Trump has a meme coin where he scammed his own supporters, and Melania has the exact same thing, and they have a fucking crypto exchange, and Trump pardoned a guy who laundered money for Al-Qaeda because that guy bought a bunch of his fucking World Liberty tokens. It's not like we didn't tell you about the illegal hotel in Dubai and the golf course in Qatar and the $400 million plane and the, Trump Jr. getting $620 million from the U.S. government for his company that's called Vulcan Earth that he backs, right? It's not like we didn't tell you about the Live Golf shit where he's taking millions from Saudi Arabia and the pay-to-play pardons that there's been extensive reporting on. Or the fucking making $160 million from foreign governments in direct violation of the emoluments clause of the Constitution. Or the making $3.4 billion off the presidency. Or
Yeah, this is why I say, does truth matter to the people that support Trump? I mean, does truth matter? Because if it doesn't matter, then that's going to apply to everything you do. It's not going to just apply to lying to Trump. It's going to apply to everything else. Lying for Trump, it's going to apply to everything else in your life that surrounds you. You see what I mean? So it's very simple. If the truth matters, it's supposed to matter with Trump too. You can't have it both ways, and make a better America. That's all. You can't make America great by not standing on principles. If lying is okay for Trump, then you're not making America great. You're actually hurting the United States of America. You see, because now you're lying about every little bit of information, everything that's going on, you're making it okay and a norm. So it spreads when you're allowed to get away with it. So you have to decide what kind of country you want to have. And you're the only people that can do that. Americans have to do that for themselves, And, in any case, I'm about to be out. I appreciate it. You could see a lot of people. This guy's an independent, by the way. A lot of people are tired of fucking Trump right about now and tired of JD Vance. I mean, when you have so many, first of all, everyone's coming out against Trump, but loads of people are coming out against JD Vance. And we're going to see which part of the demographic is going to be bought by Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. It seems like they're going to try to find a new group to support their desires because they are the ones that are behind Trump. They're the ones that are the big money people. So without a new patsy, they're out. That's what they fear the most. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk fear the American people getting rid of them because of their corruption. And they're going to find a patsy. You know what I'm saying? They're going to find a patsy. And the truth is that they wouldn't send so many trolls here if what I was saying wasn't facts. So thank you we notice, everyone notices, and that helps drive up the algorithm now so more people see. So I hope you realize that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mind it. That's why I keep the chat open. But it doesn't change anything. Facts are still facts. You know what I mean? You can't fool everybody all the time. Only some of the people some of the time. So having said that, I got to get out of here. I appreciate everybody. It's been let me see. How many hours has it been? It's been 3 wonderful hours. Everybody that came through, I appreciate you all. Everybody that clicked the like button, thank you so much for giving me your confidence. Everybody that watched the videos, I appreciate you so much. Here, I'm an American citizen, born in the United States. My family goes back in the United States to the colonial period on both sides. But as a grown-ass man, I live in Copenhagen, Denmark, and I've been living here about a little over 20 years now. It was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. I've had to learn a lot because it's a different part of the world, and also values change a little. Americans, man, we have it so hard. Sometimes we don't even realize it until we leave. And it's not that people don't like that. People love American hard work. People love that. People tend to dig us around the world in different places because we're known for hard work. But the problem is you got to know the difference between working smart and working stupid. You got to understand, poor planning does not get overpowered by physical labor, and you got to be willing whenever you travel in the world to look inward a little bit at yourself. We're not perfect. We have a lot of toxins that we spread ourselves towards each other, that is not happening in other countries. You see what I mean? And you could see how our politics suffers. Again, I'm going to say it to you. The right-wing people in the United States get treated the worst of any right-wing people in the Western world. And yet somehow they're proud of it. I mean, they're fucking proud of it. They're the only right-wing people that don't have access to universal health care and universal education. I mean, wouldn't that be fun if no matter what your opinion was, you could see a doctor when you get sick, or no matter how much money you have, your opinion has nothing to do with whether you can afford school or not? Wouldn't that be great? Not in the United States of America. No, not for you. But for me and my kids, yes. Why? Because we live in a beautiful country called Denmark, where people understand these things are good for everybody. You know what I mean? And good for the society, and good for the community, and good for the country as a whole. You know what I mean? Solves a lot of other issues. So on that note, at least if I don't achieve what I'm supposed to achieve, nobody can say I didn't have a chance. You see what I'm saying? So everybody in Denmark has a chance. So on that note, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? But on that note, I appreciate everybody. I will be back. Now, don't get me wrong. Tomorrow, you do whatever you want to do when you wake up. But since you had some good programming today, I would encourage you to enjoy the rest of your day, relax, because you can always pick up the fight tomorrow. All right. So I appreciate everybody. Take care of each other, look out for each other, be different, and do the opposite of what these crazy people that spread hatred and violence do. You know what I mean? Like, we can care for each other and treat each other. We deserve to treat each other much better. You know what I mean? Than what has been exhibited by this regime. You see what I'm saying? So let's do that, and let's not forget who we are. There's people rooting on us. Everyone around the West is rooting on Americans to get rid of Trump, Vance, Elon Musk, and Peter Thiel, and anybody that is down with anyone that would attack another Western nation the way this administration has. Trust me, everyone in the West is rooting on you. So just keep that in mind, y'all. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day, and tomorrow we pick up the battle again. Appreciate it. Harbo Nip, you back. There you go, bro. I appreciate you too, Harbo Nip. All right. Let's wrap. Everybody have a good one. See you later.
Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what?
On this here rhyme.
I like the style.
I'm staying for a while.
It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can where you at. Just relax and just hear a dope cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hear the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. It's your dope track. The vibes is real nice. Everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice. Everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. My mind state now balloon, it won't inflate. Just take the buzz, this much wiser kid, fuck the shade. And take it to a lower level and dig a ditch for the devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling people's vision get blurring. Their hearts start murmuring. I'm about 5 times iller than a Sherman. Introspection is God's gift to the miracle. I freak material, lamb's milk without the cereal. When MCs say your booty, they mean venereal. Your fake material hip-hop killers, they more faking than fucking Michael Jackson and Thriller. The status of a hoe, Quanto Costa. They wanna know how much it costs, kid. I bet for keep to me just relax and just hear a dope crack. The vibes is real nice, everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and just hear a dope crack. The vibes is real nice, everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. But I just back away real cool, no fussing. I'd rather go kicking in the streets with the bums and use the knowledge to collect what? Some funds. Open a non-profit and build a damn school. And this is the story of how a great king rules. There's many that claim to know the local demographic, but don't have the nerve to tell you the truth. It's tragic, but I do. So sit back and let me spit this shit to you. You feel better when I spit this shit to you. Despite the system trying to clamp down on the people will learn how to stand up to evil. Not evil that's across the globe, that's too far, but evil that lies in their own backyard. And fighting, it's not an option, they can't win. The government, it's not supposed to represent sin, but then again they do, and that's a problem. So let's go down and figure out how to solve them. It's not fun being a rapper that can't speak, but we do, yes, and plus we make fat beats. Yo, we smoke weed, break up trees. Listen, bringing fat beats, that is our mission. You wanted to see us, homeboy, shut up and listen. Thelonious and Big Bennett, brother, check the vision. Mentalities of different realities. Enter the Star Trek room when you hear the boom. I be the Walkman with the super bass. Automatic stop, yes, stereo cassette player. With the delayer, freaky lyrical sprayer. Extraterrestrial rhyme sayer. I be the poetical VIC/master of the ceremony. Tenderoni, won't you come step with me? I'm on a historical journey. Kinda like Sigourney. Implore me to represent the attorney that represents my niggas. Go figure, here's the card. They call me Uncle Vigor. Niggas love your blunts, down your liquors. I read the parallel to the fiction. You're fixated on this brother's nature. Relaxed behavior, I might save your change. Flip it, rearrange. The whole concept, yo, is good for all your brain. Insane, psychotic, neurotic, black onyx, and hooked on phonics, just atomic. Bees like a bonnet. Cut with the Asiatic, they all up on it. Rhyme static with the Bugatti type of skill. You wonder, is this nigga Vic really for real? It's still, but only necessary in the very. I'm milk like dairy, they quite contrary. That's scary, but I'm a dog in the prairie. I scurry to grab my bones and just bury. Lyrical flurry, go get your secretary with impeccable dictions. My style might vary, so get a hold of your own shit real fast. Fucking with us, we take it right out your ass. Prairie dogs chill while those other dogs howl. Too many dogs get sent to the pound. Back on the hill, me and my peeps just lounge. Prairie dogs, we keep it on the down. Splatter, don't like gun splatter. We try to climb the ladder, wicked men get better. They make it like splatter, but it really don't matter. Cause you know we coming back to our sons and our daughters. So follow him, the one who protects ya. And the mother, she will never neglect ya. Through divine nature, the people respect ya. And in this way I deliver my lecture. From there, you must find out what life is worth. Grew up learning your do's and don'ts. Before working on your motor skills, working on your coordination, right? And orientation to what your life. The brand new thing, so gentle the soul we're capturing. In this distance, the alphabets the kids sing. They celebrate when it's time to go outside. As you get older, you learn to let all the troubles in your life just glide away. Stay focused, keep it smooth, keep you cool. Things in life can make it get rude. If you let it, don't let it. 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 If you let it, let it, let it, what? If you let it, don't let it, let it. If you let it, what? Don't let it. If you let it, don't let it, let it. Don't let it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it.